a warning?
There ain't nothing to worry about.
I'm worried that you work in an office, have children, celebrate wedding anniversaries. The world of heterosexual is a sick and boring life.
Glinda, exactly how dead is she?
Because there has been so much rumor and speculation, let me tell you the whole story. According to the Time Dragon clock, the melting occurred at the 13th hour. The direct result of a bucket of water thrown by a female child. Of the West is dead.
Welcome back to the show, listeners.
Welcome back.
This one,
we finally got to it.
yeah.
I feel like we've been talking about this for a while.
I know. I was worried it's been a little too long, but I don't know.
I think it's just the right amount of time.
Yeah, we're right in between.
Yeah.
We're in a good space right now. Well, listeners, my name's Pete.
And I'm Scott, and these are the movies that made us gay. Welcome back to the show, our friend Mitchell.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me back.
Yes.
Last on for The Sound of Music, one of my favorite episodes last year. I loved that episode.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
We caught you when you were visiting. We're spending some time with you, and we had to fit in the Wicked episode.
Yeah.
We knew that you were going to come back on for Wicked.
I'm just as gay for this as I was for Sound of Music.
Wait a second. Sound of Music. That's making. It's reminding me of something.
What is it you can't face?
Sorry.
That still gets me. The
Every
sleeper
time.
Elsa's demon in the corner of my room calls me a cunt face.
Yeah, I feel like the three of us have been like, okay, we're gonna talk about Wicked. Like that's gonna be.
Well, I wasn't sure if we should do this movie as it was in theaters last year.
Sure.
Because we did Gladiator. We did Gladiator 2 released the same day as Wicked.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if we were going to do it immediately, wait until Wicked for Good.
Yeah.
Or just do it sometime in between. And I guess that we decided to do sometime in between.
Yeah, I think now's a good time. For Good is kind of getting on people's brains. I feel like it's been
The trailer
long
is
enough
probably
that we're like,
going to be out within a matter of days.
It better be out.
Who knows?
Like
It's probably going to be out soon.
The press tour is going to be great.
I mean, they're back again. Those two.
Oh, yeah.
Those
for
two
Drag Race.
dodos.
Those two dummies. Yeah.
They're rekindling their love
They're
for
back
each other.
to hold space.
Yeah.
I
they're
like
holding
that
space
at least
again.
it got to the point where Ari was commenting of just how stupid everything had gotten.
Yeah.
And just how ridiculous it was. I like that she at least was acknowledging it.
Sure.
It's funny when they acknowledge it like that and then kind of like lean into the joke instead of try to explain it or to get on the defensive. It's like, yeah, we were kind of dumb. Like, yeah, we were crying a lot, but so were you.
Are just having to answer every single question over and over again so sincere. I mean, that's what makes press tours probably hard.
Yeah.
Is that you have to be authentic and off the cuff for a question that you've been asked 50 times in a day.
But all the while gripping each other.
Yeah.
Like,
Death grip on one another, holding each other's finger.
yeah. Like a tiny little animal grasping
memes
onto its mother.
that came out of that press tour. I'm so excited for the memes that are going to come out of the Wicked for Good press tour.
But I mean, they were so fun and cuckoo together, but it got to that point where I think it was right after the Oscars, and they were like, "And it's the last time we'll be doing." It's like, Mama,
No, Mama.
Is it though?
Give it 4 months.
yeah,
Give it 4 months.
you'll be right back at it. But hey, here we are, still talking about it, and hopefully, when they're right back at it, we'll see how this press tour is just as bananas as the first one. I hope.
I can't wait.
So, I mean, Mitchell, you said this is probably the 12th time you've seen this movie.
I have
For
probably
our-
seen it like 12 times, maybe like 5 in theaters, once in real 3D. That was an experience. It was very good in 3D.
We saw it in 3D.
It was nice.
It didn't start. The 3D was like all
Right, it was like-
crazy,
Yeah.
and like we had to run out of the theater. Like
They had to bring out the remote
you motherfucker.
and adjust something. It was kind of cool when you saw the usher come out with a remote.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
Like it's just a giant
You,
like,
click the
fire
the-
stick.
the
Well, I
that's
mean,
like-
these are run off. These movies are
Digital,
run off
yeah.
of a server.
Yeah.
Like it's not like
There's no projector.
there's no
anymore.
projector or
Projectionist.
like
So
a
it's
projectionist.
like film reel like not a thing anymore.
I
Certain
mean, it can be.
theaters, yeah.
Certain theaters it is, but most like mall theaters all run off digital now.
And that's
so we're
why
paying
listeners.
to go see a streaming service in a theater.
And that's why, listeners, we live in Los Angeles, where we can be really head up our asses about going to movies in 35 millimeter.
A
I mean, if you go to the New Bev, the movies there are on 35 or 70 millimeter.
There you go.
I don't know if any film was released of Wicked, but there should be though.
I don't know how many times I've personally seen it. We saw it. We got tickets
I've
for
got
the initial show.
5 logs on Letterbox of this movie.
Okay, there you
The
go.
other was from January when we bought our digital copy.
So we initially got tickets to see the show, but it was like almost a full week from the
And we
release
were
date.
seeing it
So
late too.
Yeah, almost a full week from the release day was when our tickets were for. And so they released a bunch of seats early.
Like
and we were just
pretty
like,
much the day before.
should we just go today? And they were just released. It was a brand new thing. We went kind of late in the evening, so the theater was kind of empty.
yeah.
And so the first time we saw it in the theater,
This was the
crowd
This
was
was the
dead.
Tuesday night previews.
like there was no
Yeah.
one cared. It was Tuesday. The tickets were released hours beforehand, so it was us in a bunch of stuffed shirts. Nobody was applauding. Nobody was cheering. No one was singing.
I want to say I saw it on like a Wednesday before it was like scheduled to come out like
Yeah.
nationwide.
the previews.
And my friend Katie had got us the tickets, and it was at some like mom and pop theater in Orlando, and the clientele is mostly like AARP kind of age range. But there were a couple people that were excited. Like obviously seeing it for the first time, everyone together. General crowd reactions, but it was a generally empty theater. And
Yeah.
but then the second and third time it was like full house.
Yeah.
Like I had
Yeah.
to bring my mom so we could sit in like the
See, but that was the other thing.
handicap
By the
section.
time our initial tickets came around, it had already been out for a week, and this movie was that type of phenomenon where people were talking about it the day it got released. There were memes. There were
I feel
videos
like
from
it was
inside
in
the theaters.
way longer than
Yeah.
most movies are
Yeah.
in
Sparked
theaters.
the discussion of
Put your
cell
goddamn phone away.
Oh yeah,
Cell phones.
treat
in
it
movie
like you would
theaters.
a theater show. Like
How many times on my Instagram stories did I have to see the opening titles?
yeah,
Like a shitty picture in a movie theater off the screen wall. And thank God the digital copies came around so I could actually see a nice transfer of Michelle Yeoh clapping her hands.
Oh, yeah.
Because for the longest time it was that one TikTok that was
Yeah.
this shitty camera phone off a theater wall, but we won't talk too much about that.
All y'all
So,
people in the
yeah.
comments just saying like, "Oh, like worry about you and mind your business and blah." It is my business when you use your phone in a movie theater.
We'll get your
I'm
ass
to
watching
take a
the
picture of
movie
the
with
screen.
your
We'll-
phone.
I
We'll
can
get
see
your
it.
ass. We'll get your
It's
ass
my
thrown out of the
business.
Alamo.
Don't give me that. No one
Alamo.
behind me can see it because we can. So that's where we stand on that one.
Well, I want to get some formal introductions out of the way for our very special episode.
Mm-hmm.
We watched Wicked, directed by Jon M. Chu, written by Winnie Halsman and Dana Fox, based on the novel by Gregory Maguire, released nationwide November 22nd, 2024. This movie got 10 Oscar nominations, including Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Picture, and this won Best Costume Design and Art Direction.
Well deserved.
as it should.
I think maybe
Yeah,
there were a
the
couple
two
of other
wins, I
Oscars
think,
that
are
could have
pretty
been-
solid.
Way
There were
more.
a couple of other Oscars that were a little more deserved and they didn't get, but that's for history to decide. But
I'm not gonna say anything.
Was that a read?
maybe
Penis and
best supporting
vagina.
actress. Vaginoplasty, yes.
Yes.
Best supporting actress, everyone. But
So we discussed our. This movie just came out. It feels like it just came out, but it was last November, so
Almost a year ago.
pretty recent. And we usually don't cover movies this recent on the podcast, it's usually something very special. And I think that Wicked definitely classifies as something that is worth looking at now for an episode. But I wanted to start the show with not just our backgrounds with the movie, but what about the book and the original
You're going beyond
musical?
the play, the show. We're going to the
Beyond.
book.
Beyond the man.
Because
behind
my
the curtain.
introduction to this musical was reading the book when I was in college. I was probably about 21 years old when I first read Wicked by Gregory Maguire. I mean, I feel like Gregory Maguire's Wicked is kind of the patient zero of the misunderstood villain. I think that a lot of that can be traced back to him writing this book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got
You
my
mean
hands on it
things
in
like
high
Maleficent?
school.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely like that. Like that. Well, I
Cruella.
mean, not to be like cliche, but like, are people born wicked, or are they
Yeah.
is wickedness thrust upon them? But no, I remember reading that book. I got a hold of it like late. Like it had been out a while by the time I got it, because I was in high school, and I've always been into like Oz lore and like Wizard of Oz everything. Like I've read all.
We
of the
always
Wizard of
talk
Oz
about
books.
on the show of the Wizard of Oz gay kids.
That's
The gay children that love the Wizard of Oz.
Like Oz has been a fandom since
Yep.
1901, and
One of the earliest sort of cinematic IPs, I would say. I mean, there was
Yep.
an Oz movie in the silent days of Hollywood.
way before Judy came along. But yeah, the book compared to the play, though the musical, two different things.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing the musical and reading the book and thinking, God, this is kind of dark sometimes. Like, there's a lot of dark things in that book. I definitely
There's a lot
would
of
say
sexual content that does not make it into the
some
musical and the
genocide
movie.
gets cut.
Yep.
Just a little less
just a little less genocide in Oz.
Really.
I wouldn't say it's a children's book. I would definitely put it in like a young adult read. But I remember seeing the stage show for the first time because it had come to my hometown, and my mom got me tickets thinking I would bring her, but I brought my best friend.
Was this in
instead.
Florida?
This is in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, this is in Orlando. And I was absolutely blown away. I remember thinking, that's kind of a little bit not anything like the book, but the major plot points are there.
Oh, so
but
you had read the book?
I had read the book
prior.
prior to seeing
Yeah.
the show. Yeah, because I mean, I know I sound like a fake fan, like being super into the Wizard of Oz. I didn't know it was a thing. And one of my teachers actually in high school was like, "Oh, you should read this book if you really like the Wizard of Oz. You might like it." She hadn't read the book, but I sat there and I read it. But I think that Wicked is one of those rare instances, and I'm probably going to get shot for this, where I like the adaptation better than the book itself.
Well, it takes everything that works really well about the book
Mm-hmm.
and expands upon it and sort of cuts everything that you don't really need of that story.
Yeah,
No shade to
yeah.
Gregory Maguire.
Oh no, it's a great book.
Great
but-
book. I'm listening to the Audible book right now, but I probably read the book at the height of sort of the national tours of Wicked. This was probably around like 07. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it had been on Broadway in the West End since 2003.
I think
which
I
is earlier
saw
than
it-
I think that it debuted.
I have to think back because I sorry, you guys, I'm so young, so supple. I graduated high school in 2009, and I
Such a
read it
little
my
baby.
I'm such a baby at the ripe age of 34. I read it my senior year, and then I didn't see the play until the following year. So I want to say it had to been like 2010, but it was definitely it was great. And but I've seen it anytime it went on tour. So I think I've seen it like three times on stage. Maybe.
Okay, so we have only seen Wicked once. We saw it at the Pantages. This was probably around 2015
Oh.
when it came to LA. I mean, it had probably already passed through LA on its initial run, but I remember that 2010's run. My mom got us those tickets, Pete. Do you remember
I
that?
remember that.
Yep, we were on
The
the main floor
Wicked
of the
cast
Pantages.
recording with Adina and
Adele Dazeem?
with Adele Dazeem and with Kristen was released December 16th, 2003.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was recorded November 10th, 2003. They mastered that shit fast.
Yeah, sure did.
It's interesting to YouTube all of the early performances of Wicked. That it was kind of
Well, when people were
before-
sneaking in their damn phones and
Yeah.
taking shitty videos on their Nokias
Taking-
in 2007.
But
Patti LuPone was there to
But I'm
scream at
just
them.
talking about whenever they would do television appearances.
Yeah.
That it was kind of right
Well, even
before
just
it
that.
I
really
remember
caught
the
on.
Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade
Yeah.
when they did One Short Day.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
That song does have a very Main Street USA parade quality.
It's very parade.
You could almost think of the choreography as you're walking down.
Yeah, I just want
as you're walking down Madison Avenue. Yeah,
I think they did popular on probably the Today Show, but I think they also they did. I think they did popular on the Today Show. Adina did Defying Gravity on Letterman,
and she did it by herself on
and
Letterman
for the
too.
Tonys that one year.
They did it for the Tonys together, but on Letterman, Adina did it alone. And so,
so they had to sort
the
of
unlimited part they took from The Wizard and I, and they used those lyrics because she's not singing to anybody. Nobody's
that's right.
there.
Oh,
she
that's
can't
kind
do
of a weird cut of the
You
song.
and I. They couldn't
Yeah.
do that part, so she did.
Someday they'll be.
And it doesn't really fit into Defying Gravity, but
the context is weird.
But the
melody
but the
works.
melody is the same. So that's an instance where they applied that to something. So it's kind of a weird performance, and then just all of a sudden she's flying for no reason. But it's Letterman, and so that's something you could look up on YouTube. Don't know if Rosie had them. Probably. I think
sure
Rosie
she
had
did.
them, and I think she had.
Well, I mean, 2003 would have been the tail end of the Rosie O'Donnell
Yeah.
show. Though.
Oh, okay.
So maybe she didn't have them.
I thought so, but maybe it's the Caroline Ray show.
I miss that show.
We all miss Rosie. Just America, no.
Rosie,
We miss
come
Rosie
back.
here on this show. We miss Rosie. We miss the good old '90s lesbian.
With her little foosballs.
You know,
the
I
little
just
squishy
the
balls.
koosh. We love
The
it.
koosh balls.
We
That's
love
what
it.
they were.
But
We
yeah,
have a
I had
Rosie-
only seen
We have a Rosie inspired sound drop.
a Rosie inspired sound drop. I had only seen the production once when we saw it that time that you're saying. I don't remember exactly.
I mean,
the year,
it hasn't come back through until the past few months when Wicked was in theaters and tickets were like $300 for the shitty seats.
Yeah, they cashed in on the popularity for sure.
Yeah, it was
but it's
crazy.
also the new Elphaba.
I don't know. Was she in LA?
No.
I don't know who it was in LA.
This
so.
is no, I'm on Broadway.
Yeah. So here in LA at the Pantages, back row of the balcony, we're like,
And it's
300
like, at that
apiece.
price, just
That's
watch
crazy.
it again on iTunes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have it on my phone now whenever I want to watch
Yeah.
it.
So, but I mean, this movie was, like I said, it was a phenomenon. They were memeing it to death the day it dropped.
Pete,
like,
do you
it
remember when we
became
were
a
recording
sensation?
Rocky Horror with Jackson? I think that we recorded it the week that it was coming out.
Yeah.
And we were talking about,
the conversation
is
about getting
this movie
tickets.
going to do for its original material, its original stage material, what something like Chicago did as a movie? That kind of when you walk away from the musical, you think of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, now that's me with Grease.
Sure. Well, I think that's a lot of people with Grease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was previously the highest grossing Broadway to film adaptation of a musical, and then Wicked came along and knocked Grease down a peg. But every time I think of Wicked, it's going to be Cynthia and Ari.
Yeah.
No, I mean, absolutely no hate to all of the
Or
other
kind of
Glendas
going
and Elphabas.
into the musical on stage. If you are most familiar with the movie, you're going to bring most of the direction and staging and arrangements from the movie. And I can think of Chicago as something like that.
Yeah. Like it's so weird now when I'll be like shuffling through my music and a song from the Broadway cast recording will come on and it sounds so weird to my ears
Yes,
now
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm so used to the movie soundtrack and
Yeah.
how that's arranged. And I'm like,
Especially something like
oh,
Defying Gravity, which was
yeah.
already pretty iconic with Adina.
they cranked that up to that's my line. So
Who says the
good.
My Line?
Cynthia.
Oh.
It's in that Target commercial.
Oh, okay, got it.
Which was another very popular meme.
Yeah. I mean, that was another thing that I did over and over again on the Rocky Horror episode because it was Wicked Week and we were so stoked. There was a lot of that. Just being
When I
drunk.
die, I just want Cynthia's riff played on a loop for about 7 minutes. 6.5 will be
Why
fine.
not? Why not?
So I remember when we went to Wicked in the theater when we first saw it at the San Anita Mall in 3D. I remember going into it fully expecting me to walk away being a little mid about it. That
Scott was a hater.
I wouldn't say that I was a
so
hater,
excited.
but I was fully prepared to be like, I thought it was fine. It's all right, guys. It's not that great, but then those last 30 minutes,
And how did those words
it
taste?
just really takes you to church in the last 30 minutes of a movie.
How did that bitter pill
I'm a
taste
big
as it was
sucker.
going
I'm a
down?
big sucker for a movie that really slides into home.
Yeah.
And just
Oh,
really,
God.
Yeah.
that really like goes for home base and just like slides right in. In Wicked, the last 30 minutes,
It ends so beautifully.
holy shit.
Yeah.
Really like knocks it out of the park.
Yeah. And how much does a prescription cost for your own medicine?
I know.
Boo.
You didn't like that? We didn't like that one. All right. But no, I mean, yeah, it was one of the, and that's something that has also been made to death of just like, there's that one guy who's just like going into the movie and he's just like, I don't know. I've never seen it. I don't really care. And then cut 2 credits rolling,
And he's
crying.
That was me about
Straight
every
dude with the
5
girlfriend.
minutes.
I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprised your boyfriend's not straight anymore.
Not after seeing Wicked.
No.
It'll turn you gay.
It's reverse.
I mean, are there gonna be
reverse conversion therapy.
there's gonna be podcasts 30 years from now, or like little memes 30 years from now. If you grew up loving Wicked, you're gay now.
Yep.
Sorry, we don't make the rules. But no, I think it was really one of those like movies doesn't come along all the time that you watch and you're just like everybody
Well, I
can
think
agree on this
especially
shit.
something like
is good.
musicals in
Yeah.
the few years following Chicago. I mean, Chicago wins Best Picture, a huge deal, makes a lot of money, pretty loved, and then all of these musical adaptations came out, like Rent, Phantom of the Opera,
Yep.
Hairspray. That, I mean, some of these made money, but maybe not particularly all that liked.
Yeah. I mean,
like
I think it
Hairspray.
was done in reverse, but I really think that we can thank Moulin Rouge for all of this mess.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the movie first that turned into the stage show. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's just something in the sauce, and there was a lot of talk online about cutting it into two movies.
Yeah.
Do we need it? The
And
show's
I was,
only
and I was
the
one
show's
of
not
those,
even
and
as
I
long
was
as
one of
the
those
first movie.
shit talkers,
I know.
and I was one of those shit talkers when I read that
Yeah.
on Deadline or something, just being like, why? Like,
You know-
why are they doing this in the 2 movies? And then you see the movie, and you're like,
And
I
it
get
kind of
it.
makes sense. It's like,
I get it. Like, I can see a full vision going on that you need 2 movies to tell this story.
exactly, because like we don't think about things that's like when it's like a stage production. There's only so much you can do with like transitioning from like one scene to the next, or like what I mean. So there's like a lot of those like scenes in the movie, and that does eat up time. But I will agree with you. I was one of those people where I'm like, the first part is the longer than the entire show. Like, what could they have possibly? They must have
Yeah.
added like 4 new songs. But when you sit and watch it, you're like, yeah, it doesn't feel that long. Yeah, that's Act 1. Let's go pee
Yeah,
and come
yeah.
back for Act 2.
Yeah. The only thing that is kind of fluff is Adina and Kristen, but we'll get there.
Sure, if you were
scream,
gonna,
I
if
scrum.
if you were gonna,
And I
if
saw
you were gonna
those 2
cut anything out of the movie, it would be them.
You
Yeah.
scrumped.
The screamed, I scrumped. Listen, I loved it, but we'll talk about it when it's time to talk about it.
I think their dresses were very cool. The little like pedally, like
Yeah.
flounciness of the dresses. The costume design in this movie is great.
Oscar-winning costume.
It's so good. They're
Abso-freaking-lutely.
beautiful.
They look like a model.
They they look like
They
a little
stone those
evangelista.
tights.
But I was getting at least with the Shiz uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, who's the designer now that I'm thinking of? Bob Scott. Look up the fashion designer that
Bob Hope.
Bob on Traders. Not Bob the drag queen, Bob the workout guy.
Bob Harper.
Bob Harper. He only wore a certain designer on Traders, and it was like kilty skirts.
Oh my God,
like
who is
for
that?
men.
Who is that designer?
Yeah, he says it too. Anyway, I think that his kind of looks are kind of a little bit influenced on at least the Shiz uniforms with like the kind of wraparound kilty
Yeah, like the half
kiltiness
kilt, like
with
pant
but a
kilt.
pant leg and like
Yeah.
all that stuff. But I don't know. I think it does a good job of like telegraphing that like this is a different place. This
Correct.
is a fantasy land.
Yeah, we have
that
our
is
own
not where we grew
standards.
up. And and they've got a whole different set of rules when it comes to everything,
I like
including
it.
just the
Because
clothes.
it still kind of feels a little like Victorian-y, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like fantasy
Yeah.
Victorian-y.
And I think so much of it is like we're taking inspiration from the original Wizard of Oz movie,
Yeah.
as well as the illustrations, which were turn of the
Bizarre.
20th century, very bizarre. I'm kind of here to tell you the L. Frank Baum books are wild.
I love the
They
witch.
really
I
are.
love the witch
There
drawings.
is the witch drawings are really when she has her eye patch and
Her
the little
eye patch and
braids,
her little braids that stick out.
Yeah, her Pippi
She's
Longstocking, and the one
great.
heel, and all that stuff,
She's
which
fabulous.
doesn't translate to theatricality, but it's so fun anyway.
Don't even get me started on Ozma.
I mean, are you?
Beautiful.
But are you here?
Are you following
Are you
all,
following the whole story
all of this stuff with
uh,
Ozma in Return to Oz right now?
Yeah.
What have I missed?
Okay, so the
actress
actress
is a little transphobic.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Which is unfortunate. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess so. She was asked to no longer participate in an upcoming Wizard of Oz con.
Ah.
I think in LA, I think in Burbank, OzCon International, she was removed from being a vendor from that event.
That's
because of her
crazy.
recent views. Well, not so recent views. I think she's always kind of spouted off this kind of rhetoric. And so, people complained. And so they did the right thing and told her
As they should.
to hit the bricks.
Yeah, hit the bricks.
But
Go kick rocks with open-toed shoes.
as we were told by our good friends over at Once Upon a VHS, her voice was dubbed in the movie anyway. So did she even really act?
Oh, sure. I mean that's a good point.
Fake.
So that's that. That's that with her. We won't spend any more time on her. But Ozma as a character,
Ozma, like
is
illustration
trans
in the
rights.
book. Yeah, no, she absolutely is.
I don't remember if Ozma is a character, at least in the novel. I don't think that she is.
yeah, I don't.
And the novel's kind of interesting because they build in a lot of Oz mythology and ethos that are from the original novels, and
Correct.
And Gregory Maguire puts it in all of the books too.
Ozma kind of gets kind of glazed out because I even know like Glenda, like in the 39 film, is a combination of like Ozma and like
Right.
other characters put together to be.
And the Witch of the North is
Yeah.
different, and that she meets in Munchkin Land. It's not Glinda.
It's not Glinda.
Glinda doesn't come until the end, which they kind of get right in The Wiz.
and who does
Rita Horn is
Yeah.
and
there.
who does Rachel Weisz play from?
Mama. Rachel
Oz
Weisz
the Great and Powerful?
plays Nessa Rose.
Yeah, she plays the Wicked Witch.
I mean,
of the
it's
East.
not a
Yeah.
not a 1-to-1, but she plays the Wicked Witch of the East. Yeah, that movie. What a mess.
You said that you watched a little bit of
What a mess.
Oz the Great and Powerful.
Oh.
The week after
I
we
put it
saw
on Disney. It's on Disney Plus now,
Can't stand
and
that
so
movie.
a lot of people initially when this
The costume
movie.
design in that movie is great.
No,
Just
it is. Yeah,
nothing
there's some
else
beautiful
is.
stuff.
Rachel Weisz is really fun. in
Rachel
that
Weisz
movie.
is beautiful as always. But when Wicked was released, or at least the first images, marketing, things like that, people were going off about like it doesn't look like Technicolor. Well, it's not. Nothing
mean,
looks like Technicolor.
what does now?
Right?
Nothing is Technicolor
Yeah.
anymore because that technology doesn't
Yes,
exist anymore.
no. So, but people were upset that it looked washed out, that the colors weren't as vibrant as
Well, it's a different
Technicolor
vibe.
movie.
It's a completely different vibe.
People, but
It's like that sepia tone versus Technicolor thing.
Yeah.
We're in the sepia tone era of the Wicked story now.
yeah. So I put on Great and Powerful just to see how it is a mess.
Digital effects from
It's
2013
a mess.
don't look great.
It's not that they look bad. It's just too much on screen, and it's just
I don't like-
muddy nonsense.
I don't like how Mila Kunis does the Wicked Witch.
I don't like what they did with
I don't
her
like her
eyebrows.
prosthetics. Yeah, I don't like
Oh
the-
yeah,
the-
those
the
shots of
face.
her when she
Face look crazy.
when she turns green look wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think if you have to ADR the witch's cackle, then maybe you're not right for the role.
Oof. Yeah, that's kind of like that should be the calling card
Yeah.
to be a Wicked Witch. You should be able to do a cackle.
That should
So
be the
Cynthia
audition
gives
piece.
one cackle in this movie at the end of their little fight. dance.
Yeah.
Fight dancing. What is this feeling? Is that the name of the song?
Oh yeah,
she has a
no, it's
little
at the
cackle
end.
when
Yeah, it's at the end
she
of what is
surprises
feeling. Yeah, when she busts through the door.
Glinda. It's there. It's getting there. It's a laugh. So
It's gonna be fully realized in the next part.
how gagged were we with Ariana's casting?
I think it seemed expected. I don't know if I was really that shocked.
Yeah. do you
I
think?
when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay. But I also knew, and I can't believe like I forgot, but I feel like everybody else did. Like Ari started on Broadway and then got
Sure.
into comedy
comedy.
acting.
Yeah.
Like I know how we feel about old like Nickelodeon shows. We're not going to get into that. She's funny and victorious. Like she's funny. I go back and I watch clips of Kat. She makes me laugh.
The thing about those shows is that the jokes hit.
The jokes hit.
You know where the jokes don't hit? Descendants, because there are no jokes. So all you Justice for Dove Cameron people, you can
she
can
can
see
stay
the
in a
door.
different way.
I'd be
You can
curious
see
to
the door.
Do you think Dovey at least got a Zoom call with Jon M. Chu?
John Chu says that they saw everybody.
Probably.
And I kind of believe it. I kind of believe that they saw everyone and put different combinations
Amanda
of people
Seyfried
together.
says that she still has traumatic dreams about
Listen,
her audition
Girl,
process.
come on, you've
too.
already been in a musical franchise.
But I think
and
that, but I think
second
she
Mamma
made
Mia
it
just
far
for
in the
you.
auditions, though. That she at least probably did a screen test.
Hey, you
want
want to talk about how the inconsistency of these characters going to college? Cast Amanda Seyfried. No.
Amanda Seyfried's my age.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She looks older than Ariana Grande. I feel like she reads older than Ariana. To me. Sorry,
I just don't. It's like,
Amanda. Come on the show next week, Miss Mandy.
no, I
But
think what sold me was that video that then got put as part of the advertising for the film when they called Ariana and
sure.
told her that, and she just
That was
broke
cute.
down
Yeah,
crying.
yeah.
And she's all like,
And then the
you know,
dog
I'm
starts
going to take
barking.
such good care of her. And
Yeah.
I was like, you know, I believe that you will.
Yeah.
Because she is a Wicked super fan.
Yeah.
It's not new. There's videos of her way, way, way back in her youth singing every song from Wicked.
Meeting the
There's-
cast at
meeting,
the
yeah, Kristen
stage
Chenoweth
doors.
being
There's
besties
that
with
really
her.
fun I don't know, was it a 20th anniversary special that they did?
Oh, when she sang The Wizard
and
and
she
I.
sang The Wizard and I, yeah.
It's great. She did
Yeah,
great.
it's really good. That special is like you can't find it in its entirety. It's only all chopped up into
clips.
ugly little bits on YouTube, and
Does
they're all
Quad show
like
it at all?
backwards and upside down, like they're crazy. I'm sorry.
Does Quad show it at all? I don't think I've ever seen a Quads.
Quads? No, we've never seen that.
Okay.
Quads. No.
Well, I mean, do we want to start this conversation off with who could have directed Wicked? Because I remember for years, Stephen Daldry, who directed Billy Elliot and The Hours,
Yeah, he had his
was
hands on it.
supposed to be doing a Wicked movie, and there was even a date. It was in 2019, December.
I remember this, and then Universal gave us that horrendous Cats movie
when
instead. Do you remember those billboards
had-
that just hung
he had-
menacingly over the city?
and he had filming commitments for The Crown, and they had to postpone it. And and Universal had the idea to put in Cats as the sub for the release date.
Well, you
Yep.
know, the big gaggerini with Stephen Daldry is that I'm pretty sure it's kind of verified that he was pretty much going to cast Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
I think I love Gaga.
Or
You
if
guys know I love
she would have
Gaga.
done it, he was like,
I think she at
I
least
think
met
the
with
role
them.
was hers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think circling back, I love Gaga. You guys know I love that woman.
Can act, too. Good
Yeah.
actress.
Oh,
Absolutely.
good
Mhm.
actress, but I think maybe might have been better as like Madame Morrible versus Elphaba.
Sure.
Because if you're
Yeah.
trying to buy that college age, like it's that same thing you said about Amanda.
Yeah.
I think I could see her as a professor. I could see her as Madame Morrible. I don't see her as a student.
I mean, if this was 2010,
Oh, yeah.
We'll
I'm
talk.
thinking of Gaga
Yeah.
today,
I also think
who by no means looks old, but she definitely doesn't
yeah.
look like a college student.
I also think that in this time when this movie was released in November of 2024, I think it really said something that Elphaba was a black woman.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
And
know.
it's like,
And you know,
It makes total sense with the story,
it
too.
has become black culture.
yeah.
Black people did not care about Wicked before. I mean, I'm speaking out of term.
I'm sure,
maybe I'm being out
yeah.
of pocket, and I'm sorry, but I
There are
feel
black
like
folk in every
it
fandom.
has become part of culture now.
Yeah.
At this point, because
it's
of Cynthia.
representation,
and it's
because
so cool.
Little black girls can have
Yes.
now another icon to look up to, and
Yeah.
Cynthia I love.
Yeah.
I remember seeing her the first time I saw her. Did you guys watch the show Chewing Gum?
Yes,
No.
I love chewing gum. It's so
She's
funny.
in chewing gum, and she's
It's
really,
so funny.
really funny in that
Yeah.
show. But the first time I heard her sing was when she sang "I'm Here" in Color Purple.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
That song
she got
is crazy.
hyped. That song, I'm getting chills thinking about it.
So, I mean, going back a little bit, like to Elphaba and Adina being such a big part of this character, and Adina being a Jewish woman, right? Kind of bringing that to Elphaba's like otherness and kind of all that
Her
part of the
outsider
outsider qualities and all of that. So it's just so built into this character, and to have these different women coming in and stepping into the role and kind of like taking on those attributes for however they can interpret that from their life. And I think
Well,
that
it's reflected into the Broadway show too, because the new Elphaba, the new full-time Elphaba on Broadway is a black actress.
Yeah.
And they've made the proper adjustments. Like, they made her hair more to fit, her culture and her
Bust down braids?
representation. Yeah. No, she's got like a really
Talking
cute
about the bust down braids?
cornrow, like up half, and then it's like down in the back with like braids that run through. It's really pretty wig.
Yeah.
It's not that crazy micro braid that Cynthia Erivo has. That's like a $10,000 wig.
I was gonna say that she went to the one braid lady in all of Oz.
The one, the other black woman in Oz going to Elphaba. Girl, who does your micro braids? Can you please give me an appointment?
I know. Give me her phone number.
Yeah, she's in Winky Country.
Yes. So, all right. So, should we kind of start at the beginning? I mean, we don't.
Well,
We won't do-
I think we
we're not
should
gonna do a
go
recap.
through the numbers.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way. I mean, that's kind of how we did The Sound of Music.
Yeah, I mean, and it kind of
Yeah.
flows in, like, the soundtrack
Hold on.
flows.
Let me get the vinyl. Hold on.
Go get
It's
the
right-
vinyl.
It's right on top of the record player. So, I love the first number. I love the opening number.
No One Warns the Wicked?
No One Warns the Wicked.
Yeah, it's
so
great.
good.
It's arranged really well for the
It's
movie, too.
arranged so well. I feel like that really sold me in the theater. I was just like, okay, it's Ariana. Like, it's her. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm
sold.
buying it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
From the first time you hear that, let us be
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm signed up. I'm invested.
We knew she had the voice. We knew she had the
She has the octave for it.
the falsetto and the what is it? The whistle tone.
The whistle tone.
We knew she had the whistle tone, and
A
she comes
falsetto
in
child?
a falsetto child, and she comes in the bubble, and you can in the movie theater you can see the refracting light swirling in the bubble.
I love
And
design
that
of the
in 3D
bubble.
was so cool when she
And-
pops
and
the
she
bubble,
pops
and I'm
it,
like, oh
and
my
you
eyes.
see the rainbow and
Yeah.
the like sparkles of suds coming. It's
the sound
just-
design in that film is great.
You were noting why there's a couch in the bubble. Well, I mean, she could want to
Oh,
sit.
yeah.
She
She's
could wanna-
not sitting in
She
it,
could
though.
want to
No,
sit in the.
but
I mean,
if
I don't know
you
if she could
look at
sit in that
it,
dress, but
It's like a half wall that comes up behind her, but it's padded, but it's not high enough for
It's
her
not
to
a
lean
seat.
against.
Yeah.
She'll fall back out of
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
So it's purely aesthetic,
Yes.
non-functional. I still don't understand how the
She
bubble
doesn't
works.
interact with with it. Yeah, she needs something to turn the bubble on and off.
like a
so
foot
it's
pedal.
I love
just,
that.
And then
but
she
it's
pops
just
it.
hiding the pedal. This
Yeah.
whole thing is just to hide the
It's
pedal.
hiding the human world
So-
mechanics.
Yeah,
what these opening
because there's no magic.
So then how does it
Glinda
flow
doesn't
across?
have magic.
No,
It's
she doesn't.
mechanical. It's all Oz mechanics.
So one of what I think of with these opening scenes of how Jon M. Chu directs it, especially for a movie musical, it kind of reminds me of something like how Baz did the Moulin Rouge, of that when this movie starts, it goes hard
Yeah.
on being a
So-
musical. That
There's
I
some
think
really
that
cool
I think it's
visuals in
just
Moulin
sort
Rouge,
of
too.
kind of starting at a 10 with the audience that
So the
really
one-
communicates that
the one
like,
thing about this
yeah.
movie is that with a lot of movie musicals, we get that sneaky trailer.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, all right, who in 2024 didn't know Wicked was a musical? Some people.
Probably a lot of people.
Some people, right? And they give you the sneaky trailer that's like, what musical? This is just a fun
The
fantasy
Wizard of Oz
romp,
movie.
But, Sweeney Todd, what are some fake out musicals?
Wonka.
Like the Wonka with Timmy, things like that they try to
Mean
gag
Girls.
the audience.
Yep.
And the other thing about Wicked is that it's not quite Phantom of the Opera where they're singing
Dialogue.
everything, but they sing a lot in the stage production.
I'm so
and they
happy
do
it's not that
such
way, though.
a good job in the movie of not doing that.
Yeah, there's a good amount of dialogue. Like, I've only
Yeah.
seen Les Mis once, and because I
Oh.
only had time to see it once.
I ain't got no time to see it a
No.
second time.
There's a version
No.
of you still sitting in the
got-
theater.
work to
in
do.
another 3 to 5 business days,
Yeah.
and you're about halfway
Yeah.
through that movie.
Yeah. So yeah, this movie starts you off with a bang. It's like, boom, here we are, big, huge, gigantic number.
I mean,
Shopping
it's a
number.
make it or
Yeah.
break it number because I remember when my sister brought my dad.
Yeah.
Which my dad, it's just like, why did you bring Pete?
Old Pete, yeah.
My dad Pete to Wicked. Like you couldn't. You two,
But did he love
you
it?
two couldn't just go to Gladiator 2 that was playing like one theater down that I think you'd like a little more. They hated it. Just because I think that it hits you so hard with being a musical that I think for some people that are casual musical theater listeners
Yeah.
of just sort of they really like the movie Mary
Yeah.
Poppins or The Sound of Music,
Yeah.
that it might not be their thing.
Those quote unquote
Yeah.
classics.
But what I
In my
like
heart,
about
Wicked's a classic.
but what I like
Yeah.
about how Chu does this material is that he goes hard in the
Yeah.
first 5 minutes of this movie. That and then he does kind of like kind of go back a little bit from it, but he at least drops you in Oz like
Oh yeah.
full force.
Like when you
Yeah.
see like Munchkinland for the first time, and like those like they planted all those tulips. It's like millions of tulips. And I think that's another thing that I really appreciate about this movie is the use of practical sets and practical effects.
Sure.
It in my mind it pays an homage to old Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like they didn't have that.
They
Like
didn't-
in
yeah.
The Wizard of Oz, doing the cyclone scene, like that was like the creme de la creme of the
Which,
technology.
Mama,
at the
you
time.
watched that tornado and you're like, how did they
do that?
And the painted and the painted backdrops.
so good.
Milk pans.
Yeah.
And the painted backdrops definitely do remind me of the 1939 movie too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of questions about the opening number. All right, and I want to go through them with you guys.
Okay.
Who do we think is on the horse riding away from the castle? Now, this castle, canonically, in Wicked, is Kiamoko, which is Fiero's family's ancestral estate.
Yes.
Has it just been sitting vacant all these
Yes,
years?
they
Yes.
don't live there. It's a rundown mansion.
Elphaba made it her
and
center of
eventually it
operations
becomes her
in part
lair.
I
two,
remember
yeah.
all this from the book.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. So
I
this
definitely
castle that
think-
we see with these floating pillars, it's like two pieces, and the top is like floating over the bottom piece.
I
and
love
it's, like,
the opening bit of
turning.
VO
Yeah.
with Ari too.
And
Yeah.
Ari's, the Witch of the West is dead.
The time dragon clock.
The time, what clock?
The melting took place.
The
at
Who Dragon
12th
clock?
hour.
Okay, so who do we think is riding away from the castle on this horse?
Elphaba
It's
Throb.
got to be Elphaba.
Yeah,
It's Elphaba Throb.
I think it's Elphaba.
It's
yeah.
if you've seen the show or read the book,
Yeah.
it's Elphaba.
Now, does
She's not
she
dead.
actually die in the book?
No,
No.
because there's like
Oh.
son of
Well-
a witch is the oh sorry.
Oh, I don't remember.
Spoilers.
I actually
but
didn't read Son of a Witch.
Yeah.
There's now 4 books in the series because the 4th one just came out. Like I think like last week or the week before.
Yeah, pretty recent.
Because my bestie Lindsay is the manager of a Barnes and Noble.
Oh, love it.
So they had a little thingy. But yeah, the second book is called Son of a Witch,
Right.
and it's sorry spoilers, listeners.
It's Elphaba and
It's
Fiero's
Elphaba
son.
and Fiero's.
It's a
son.
spoiler for the books. They have there's no movie to spoil.
Yeah. in my delusional universe,
They're gonna make us
Universal
a-
is working on turning Son of a Witch into a musical.
Oh my god!
And
oh
the
my
third
God.
book is A Lion Among Men.
Yeah, and it focuses around the Cowardly Lion's experiences during the Dorothy days and then prior to Dorothy's exit, everything like processing trauma.
Because this is the lion cub
Trauma.
that they
Cub that Elphaba and Fiero
they take from the
saved.
school.
Yeah, and I guess he
blames them for his cowardice.
Yeah, he blames Elphaba for his cowardice.
not letting him fight his own battles.
It's like, girl, you didn't ask.
I guess that is generational trauma, but that's something that you need to come to
Yeah.
terms with on your own,
But
spoiled
it's
child.
definitely Elphaba on the
Okay,
horse.
all right, good. Because I always thought that too. But
It's
that's
going to be fun to see Wicked for Good match up to that scene.
Yeah,
too.
I can't wait to
It's going to be
see-
a moment. I can't wait.
It really is. I mean, we're talking about she's standing there grabbing that flaming torch to throw it on, like you said, on the effigy of her best friend.
Uh-huh.
Mama just finished singing
Just
for
finished
good,
singing for good.
crying her eyes out.
thinks her friend is
20
dead,
minutes ago.
her best friend.
Got in her bubble and flew
I
her ass over
love
here.
how Ari plays that scene of just kind of when you're really over something.
All right.
All right, see you later.
Or that one guy that
I'm gonna
no
get
one
outta
mourns
here.
the wicked, and the look she gives him. Excuse
Oh,
me,
God.
you came in a little early.
I don't know you like that. Okay, question number 2. Do they really think that we did not recognize Jeff Goldblum's voice?
Oh, okay. I was thinking that when we were watching it, but I was like, I'm gonna save it for the pod.
Mama,
If-
that is...
okay. It's a
you
huge
do not have to
spoiler.
have a 10-year to know that is...
Let's say you're going into Wicked. You're going into it fresh.
Yeah.
You don't know, spoiler, that the wizard is Elphaba.
You don't even need
He's
to...
the baby daddy. He's the pappy. But everybody knows Jeff Goldblum knows that voice.
Oh, that-
you know, like, it's him. It's
Have
undeniably
another
him.
drink.
I got one more night.
I'm like, Mama,
Tears
they
now."
are really not holding back. They're
No.
telling us. They're telegraphing to us.
Because when I
the
remember
viewers.
seeing it in the theater, and I heard that, and I was like,
the sweet elixir.
now everybody knows it's the wizard. Like,
I kind of thought that. And at that point, I have forgotten. So I was like, I
yeah.
guess what they're telling us is, I guess what they're telegraphing here is
maybe that's
that the
why
wizard
Those
is.
scenes,
Elphaba's quote unquote dad doesn't like
give me-
her because that ain't her daddy.
those scenes are giving me Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella with
Yes.
Brandy. Which why I think I really love all of these opening scenes.
I love that.
Is that
movie.
it reminds me the most of the Brandy Cinderella.
Impossible.
Yes, impossible. So good.
Okay, so yes, we are. I mean, we all have ears. We know that's Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Lastly, is Dorothy's house somewhere in Munchkinland?
So supposedly, I've tried to go back and watch it. Supposedly, you can see it in the wide shots of like when they show like the group choreography during No One Mourns the Wicked, and Ari's Glinda is kind of like roaming around, making her rounds. You know, shaking hands, kissing babies.
I guess it's only a couple of days since Dorothy
Yeah,
got
because
there.
this is
Yeah.
the town that she
It's Munchkinland.
Crashed
her house in.
Yeah, it's Munchkinland.
It's also theorized that the effigy of Elphaba was built using bits of
The house?
Dorothy's
I was going to say
house.
at least
Sure.
there's a sign on the front of her that says "Kill the Witch,"
Uh-huh.
and those look like they could be planks
Yeah, like
from the
planks or
house.
something.
Because
But
she's more made of
apparently
reeds.
You could see it in an aerial.
Yeah.
You could see it in an aerial shot. You could see it's like
I'm
off to, like,
dubious.
yeah,
I'm
you can see it,
dubious.
like,
I'm dubious.
A little pile of wood.
But I think this. I think.
Then does that mean Nessa
the
Rose is
Kill
still sitting
the
underneath
Witch-
that house?
They
Did they move the body?
yanked her out yet? I think the Kill the Witch planks. I think that's supposed to be
Yeah.
the house.
Do you think it was pretty
Pieces of wood.
shady of the Munchkinlanders to have Dorothy and the whole gang walk?
When that train was
Emerald
working
City?
just fine?
Oh,
why
see,
the
I have
train
a
is
theory
probably
about
there?
that.
That bullet train was working fine.
I have a headcanon
Was she
about
trying to
that.
help? Trying to help?
I think
Elfie,
that the
giving
train
her
had
some
been decommissioned because
Ah.
if we look at it, the events of Glinda and Elphaba arriving in the Emerald City via the Japanese-style bullet train,
Yeah.
and then there's several years that elapse before Dorothy gets to Oz. So I'm pretty sure the wizard was like, that's getting people into the city a little too quickly.
Sure,
'Cause
and
if
also
you'll
getting them
notice,
out.
When Dorothy gets to the Emerald City, it's almost like it's on lockdown.
Right.
Because she can't get
No
in.
one comes
She has
in,
to
no one
stay-
sees the
no one comes
wizard,
in,
yeah.
you know, bell
Sure.
out of order, please knock.
Ah, interesting.
So I think the train had been decommissioned.
All right.
But it's also, if you put the lores together, in my mind, it could also be maybe Glinda's a little salty because she still loves and cares for Elphaba
Yeah.
and still wants to try to help her in a
She's
way.
like, your ass can walk.
Yeah, and she's like, you can walk.
You can-
As she's like,
You have
using
legs.
her dress to block the train station behind her. Yeah, you're just gonna follow that yellow brick road. We built it I picked the color.
I was going to say the yellow brick road that I designed.
that I designed. You're welcome. Go ahead and walk the length.
I'm
of
into
this-
that.
Walk
Okay.
the length of this
Be-
country.
because there is going to be a time jump when For Good starts,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, it's several years after the timeline picks up. I think it's like a couple, maybe like a week or two before Dorothy gets to Oz,
Okay.
because we'll find to become Madame Morrible's doing.
Right.
Yeah.
She a change of weather is in order.
Mm-hmm.
Our paths did cross at Skule.
I don't remember an Elphaba throp at my school.
I immediately thought of that when I saw the movie. I said, at school. What?
School.
Sure, Jen.
Sure, Jen.
Sure, Elphaba.
Oh, Elphaba, you don't have any friends.
Oh, my God.
How is Elphaba going to make $20,000?
$20,000. Oh, shit. All right, let's see. We were talking about... Okay, I mean, we're going to be gushing about Cynthia a lot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, her arrangements of these, and I don't know if they're, I don't know if we can attribute them to her, if she has
It's probably
does she
a
have
little-
a music director that came in and
probably
said,
a little
let's try,
Steven Schwartz working with
let's
them
try
too.
these runs, whatever. But I think, I mean, obviously...
Well, it does. It goes
Obviously,
to make
Defying
sense
Gravity.
that she probably had a lot of input
Yeah.
because I remember they said that Steven Schwartz wanted to do Popular a little more like poppy R&B style to fit Ari's, and she shut that down.
Sure.
Ari was like, "No, I'm a wicked purist. It needs
Yeah.
to sound like it's arranged on stage." She
Right.
didn't.
I love
want
that.
an R&B like a popular. Like she didn't want to do all that. She wanted it
You know,
Glenda singing it, not Ari singing it. So I'm sure Cynthia did the same.
Well, Cynthia said too, though, that she was willing to be as Bible as was required, and she was going in there singing Adina's version.
Yeah.
And that kind of John and Steven were kind
Well,
of
they
like,
had her come up with
why
her
don't
own
you go
battle
ahead?
cry.
Well, and
let's
Adina
make it
doesn't,
yours.
when she hits the high note, she doesn't hit it like that. Too.
Yeah. So, I mean, we need to talk about The Wizard and I if we're having this conversation. Because that scene in the stage version, she's just kind of walking around school, just
it's
like
kind of monotone.
singing
It's
a
kind
song.
of like one note. It's a when I first heard that song,
It's happy.
a
She's
foreshadowing
happy,
song.
but
She's happy,
yeah.
but it's foreshadowing.
It's called acting.
Yeah. It's called fashion sweaty.
But, you know, I just think that there's something about the version in this movie that, for a movie, it's like we have to get these emotions in their faces.
Yeah.
And they have, for stage productions, we got to get it for the back row, but there's just a little difference in the subtlety.
You can be a little more intimate.
Yeah.
So this song begins with Michelle Yeoh as Madame Horrible.
It does.
How do we feel about Michelle Yeoh in this movie?
I love Michelle.
I love Michelle Yeoh.
I love Michelle
I think
Yeoh
it's
in every
kind
movie.
of
She's not a singer, but I
perfect.
love her.
Well, also it's perfect stunt casting because I mean, famously, Madame Horrible on the stage, you can have a little more fun with it. That you can kind of add in
I like what she brings to that
character
character.
actress that may not be may not have.
I mean,
a
it's
big
Carol Kane, the
Broadway
best singer.
background like Carol Kane or Rue McClanahan.
Right.
That you can kind of have fun with.
Sheryl Lee
who
Ralph
you're
did
gonna
a good
have.
run.
Sheryl Lee Ralph's
And that
Madame
was
Horrible
fun.
is great.
I've seen that on YouTube, and that was
Yeah.
fun. She did some really fun
Michelle
stuff.
Yeoh has a working relationship with the director
She
too.
does.
She was in Crazy Rich Asians.
I love that. I
That
love that
movie's
he's.
great,
I love
too.
that he's like, yeah. So Michelle Yeoh and my mom are like really tight now.
Yeah,
I just love that.
they text each other
He's
on the
they're-
regular.
They're just really good friends.
I remember seeing her in like an interview when like he like she got the role and she's like,
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. And then she's like, wait, isn't this a musical? And he's like, yeah, you'll be fine.
We'll figure it out.
But I mean, she does. I like it. It's that
I think
kind
it
of
works.
like sing speaky kind of
It's a
thing.
little Professor Henry Higgins.
I like how she does Madame Horrible because like you were saying, like, you know, everybody brings something unique to it. But she's kind of like a campy character.
Well, I think
you know
that-
what I mean?
well, I
the
think
character in
she's very
stage
she's very
is
high camp,
super
but
grand.
Michelle's Madame Horrible
grand
is,
in a different way.
She's
Yeah.
glamorous.
Yeah.
Well, I
She's
think
so
that
glamorous.
when you do this character
Regal.
in a
Yeah.
film,
Yeah, very
that you
regal.
have to
Yeah.
she
hide.
knows her status.
You have to hide the cards a little more with this character.
Yes.
For the
Mhm.
purpose
Also
of a
that.
movie.
Also
she's not a
that.
villain.
That
until
I
the
think that
end.
you have to
Yeah.
sort of hide her
Well, she's a villain the whole
intentions
time.
and
We just don't know
slowly
she's a
give
villain.
them to
Yeah.
the viewer. While on stage, she's pretty rotted from the beginning, right?
Oh, she's really rude from the
And they give
beginning.
a lot of
we
her-
have nothing but the highest hopes. For
And don't they
some
give a lot
you.
of her dialogue to
Yeah.
the one woman from The Greatest Showman?
To the bearded
too?
lady.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
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 Who
Because
surprisingly doesn't sing in the movie because she's a great
Yeah,
singer
she's a big-
too.
yeah.
When she didn't do anything, she just like,
Yeah.
I'll take you there myself. I'm just like, okay, Mrs. Potts, when are you gonna sing?
Yeah. But I mean, but that does make a little bit more sense too for a movie to kind of Madame Morrible doesn't have
break
to do
up the dialogue.
everything.
Correct, because there's only
you
so
know?
many people we can fit on
Yeah.
this stage.
Yes, yeah.
You know,
And she doesn't need to go into each classroom, and she doesn't, you know,
Correct.
they can have, what's her name? Go ahead. And
She
do
wears
that.
very beautiful gowns.
beautiful gowns.
beautiful
lovely
gowns.
beautiful gowns. But oh no, I meant to say because you were talking about The Wizard and I. I like the song
Yeah.
in the stage show, but it never really did anything to me.
Yeah.
And there have been some fantastic Elphabas after Adina who
Yeah.
have sung that song and really finished it big, but I didn't really. It didn't strike emotion in me
Yeah.
until Cynthia did. Like, I cried in the theater, like when she's belting out her very last, like, the wizard.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Get that cool grand shot.
oh, that
of-
shot is so good. And
of
then all of
Chiz.
the visual cues that pay homage
Yeah.
back to the Wizard of Oz.
And
like
you can see the
bluebird
desert
flying over the rainbow.
You can see the
deadly desert.
The deadly
Yeah.
desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's she, the way that she put her whole foot into that song.
She did.
I mean, she does
She
it for
did.
every song, but like I said, I really didn't feel the
Yeah.
song, and now it's one of my favorite songs in
Yeah, yeah.
the-
Now
the
it's
show.
like I love it.
Great.
And thank God that the costume designers didn't make her wear that Meg Griffin hat
Oh my god, it's
in this movie.
I hate it.
Why? Every
But I
version,
love
she does.
her
She
design
does
is
wear.
so
She does wear a
every
Meg Griffin hat
version
on stage.
Elphaba has to wear that Meg Griffin hat
But
until popular.
if you notice, her hair is styled the same way.
It
It's
is.
that
The
side
braid to the side,
so
yeah.
it still registers
It's
as
giving-
Elphaba.
yeah,
She's wearing her
yeah.
glasses. She looks like
Love the glasses.
the
How-
glasses are great.
how
Those
has their-
infinity.
how
I
is
own
it
those glasses.
luxury eyewear line not have you? So you have a dupe of them?
I have a dupe of them.
Okay.
But they are
They like
for
Temu?
no, they're like I think Amazon something. I don't
Or do
know.
they
No,
have
TikTok
windshield
shop,
wipers on
TikTok
them?
shop girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have little windshield wipers. No, they're the blue glass, like for monitors, like looking at computers.
Oh, sure,
or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
that
Blue
like
light-
get rid of the
blue
blue
light,
light,
yeah,
the blue
yeah.
glare,
Okay,
whatever.
yeah.
So I'll
You're
sit,
going to be doing your drag race
I'll
confessionals
sit up there on my
wearing those.
PC, get ready to log into Sims 4, and I'll put on my little
All
Elphaba glasses.
right, okay.
And
See, we were
but-
saying like luxury eyewear needs to jump on those because they're like people will buy them.
look at
Clearly they do.
Bowen's glasses in that movie, like the wishbone glasses.
Those are crazy.
Those are
a
Bowen's
little
glasses are great.
Those
They
are a little too
are
much for me.
the filigree or whatever on the side, the little
Yeah.
fleur de lis, but
Yeah.
they're so cool. But everything is so whimsy,
Well-
especially things as mundane as a pair of eyeglasses
Yeah.
is
Right.
a high fashion
Yeah.
statement.
And you know, I think that in something like Guardians of the Galaxy, there were a lot of characters running around in full body makeup, and it looked really great. So I think like body makeup is at a really good place right now because
It's really improved.
it's kind
Yeah.
of hard
Cynthia,
to
yeah,
tell
she looks great.
if somebody was digitally kind of touched up, but no, they decided to go in.
There's videos of it. You can go
They
and see them
painted
putting the
her whole
prosthetic ears
ball
over her
head.
ears.
Yeah.
They painted her whole bald
Her
head.
whole ball head because
Did the freckles.
they painted her bald
everything.
head because
The lace
her
front.
scalp came through in the lace front and it just looked
Yeah.
more real and it was beautiful. And so, and like you were saying, she has so many piercings that they gave her prosthetic ears
Yeah.
to cover the piercings.
But they look great. They,
They
don't
look
look
great.
too big
I
for her
don't-
head.
I don't even think about prosthetic ears when I
When
watch
you
this
see her.
movie at
It's
all.
because Ariana Grande
I don't
stole
even
them
see
from
it.
the set.
But listen, Ariana Grande, her hands are covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And her
they
wrists,
covered her up really well.
They covered her
That's
tattoos.
that Dermablend girl. I
extremely
bet it's
well.
Dermablend.
Yeah, because when they give her the role,
Mm-hmm.
she covers her face, and you're like, "Oh, mama, she is covered. She's inked up her hands and her wrists, and like going up her arms." Yeah. So
Well, on the
Cynthia's
press
not the
tour
only one
alone,
in full makeup.
they got Cynthia and Ari got like I think five or six tattoos each.
Love
that
it.
have to do
Love it.
with either Glenda or Elphaba.
Yeah.
They went and got tattoos together, and they would just show up for set and have a fresh tattoo that the makeup artist now has to
Speaking
cake
of
makeup over.
speaking of subtle makeup, I remember you died when you noted on Ari's collarbone.
She has the little
Her little
jewels.
She has little
Rhinestones on her
rhinestone
clavicle.
jewels.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's
just
so
like
nice.
stuck on her clavicle.
Just
it's
a little bit
it's
of
giving a little
glitz.
like '90s hair jewels, but still, I love it.
Maybe it was a plug-in promotion because she's like the spokesperson for Swarovski right now.
Ooh, I like that too. Okay, so Cynthia mentions in the making of we have the Apple TV version, and it has a 45-minute making of.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's on
Oh,
the,
yeah, I watched that
the
too.
Blu-ray.
And that's
Cynthia-
different from the ABC special?
Yes,
right?
it's different from
Okay.
the ABC
Yeah.
special, which is on, or I think it was NBC because it's on Peacock.
NBC,
It's
sure.
on Peacock. You can watch that. Cynthia mentions that she mentions noting that Margaret Hamilton has nails. Margaret
does.
Hamilton has long nails in the movie, and we've always noted that.
Yeah.
And we read or saw or something, acrylic nails didn't become a thing till like the 50s.
Sure.
So those are probably her
So
natural
for like
nails.
nail glue.
1939,
Yeah.
they're not her natural nails.
What are they
She
made
didn't
of?
have long nails, but she wanted them. And so she went to the makeup people and was like, what can we do? Because acrylics won't be invented for 30 years, 20 years. So what should we do? And they said, here's what we're going to do. They got Scotch tape,
No way.
taped the ends of her fingers, cut it into the right shape, and used her body paint.
I
And
love
when
that.
you watch it, they are thin
I
as
never
Scotch tape.
noticed,
Yeah.
but it's because we all know like the iconic shot of
Yeah,
like her
of the
silhouette
hand,
and that
the
hand,
claw.
and then they use it in the movie too. But I never
So
knew that's how they did that.
yes.
I'm just like
So Cynthia
acrylic
said,
since the dawn of time.
Yeah, or you just think that those are probably her actual
Yeah.
nails that they just painted. So Cynthia said,
gel.
I saw that she had nails, so I thought, okay, great.
Yeah.
I love wearing nails.
It's something that we should
so
build into the
perfect.
character.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. If I like wearing nails myself, let's bring them in and have it just complete.
And Cynthia's nails
Complete
during
look.
the press tour.
2024 was a big year,
big year for nails.
movie nails.
Oh,
Honora, yep. She got dollar signs like a real hoe.
like a real hoe.
Listen, if I'm
Nosferatu.
anything, it's a nail girly.
Nosferatu had those long.
Nosferatu's
nail.
nails are really like well kept too.
They are. Yeah.
He has
likes-
he has very pretty
He
nails.
gets a clear coat.
Mhm.
He gets a clear coat manicure.
He gets a little, yeah. He gets a little, just a
Could
buff.
you imagine going to like getting? I want to see Nosferatu, Elphaba,
and Honora.
and Annie and all of her stripper friends
Yeah.
at the same salon
And
getting
then,
nails
just
together.
sitting there in the chair, just like talking. So you get professional manicures every now and then.
Yeah.
You've been known to get a manicure in your
I
life.
love having my nails done because of my current job. I can't. So if I have 2 days off,
Sure.
I'll
I have-
sit there and give myself a full
I have
gel
a really
manicure
bad
to rip it off.
I have
2
a really
days
bad
later.
habit
Love
of
it.
biting my nails, and I feel like if I got nails, I wouldn't do it. Like if I actually got like
If you went and paid to get them done,
I actually got-
and
if
then
I
you see
paid
what
to
that
get
cost, you're going to
nails
protect
done
them like they're the damn
that I
thing gone.
don't think that I would be biting
Well,
them.
my
Yeah.
my question was, if I got a picture of the manicure that Elphaba gets in the Emerald City at the very end, the like final battle manicure,
her final battle nails.
and I go down to my Happy Nail salon, I'm like, hook it up. What is my tab at the end of that day?
I am probably going to say, literally, I'm not kidding. It could be anywhere between like $500 to $1,000.
Yeah.
Depending on how well known
about right.
the nail
artist
artist
is.
is. Like it could be like
What if it's
somebody
Cardi
like Cardi
B's
B's
nail?
nail artist. Oh, $12,000.
What
A
is her
lien on
name?
your
On your house. Okay,
That's what it'll
all
cost.
right.
Because
You gotta wait for that
most-
tax check to come in.
most nail techs, they'll have a base price
Yeah.
for the services, and then everything is an add-on.
Yeah.
If they're if they're worth their own weight,
Right.
each nail could be at least like $10, $15 per nail per design. I went to go get my nails done one
Each
time,
nail?
and I wanted just simple lines.
What
I just wanted like
glitching on me.
simple little lines, a little dot here and there. This bitch charged me $10 to take a dotting tool and go onto my nail.
I could have done that at home.
And I was like, $10, take it off. I could do that at home. I have a metallic Sharpie at home.
warning.
I got a Sharpie at home.
I can do that.
we got nails at home.
But then I learned how to do my own nails. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm saving so much money, but I keep buying nail supply shit.
Listen, my left hand looks beautiful. My right hand,
Don't
give
look
it a
at
day or two.
Give it a day or two. Yeah.
all those,
even if you
all
look
those
now.
flecks of polish on my skin
This hand is
will slough
flawless.
off in a
That's
day.
funny. I used to work with a lot of Gen Zers that had really cool nails, and watching them bag groceries, I'd be like, how do you kids do that?
Like that
How do
Family
you
Guy
kids
clip
bag
with Peter with the
groceries?
acrylics.
I love Peter
with
typing
those
nails.
nails.
That's how it is. Like my mom right now.
Michelle Visage and Leah Remini trying to get the credit card out of the
Yeah.
the parking meter.
No, that's like my mom
Using
right
your
now.
knuckles?
Her nails are way too long for her.
Yeah.
Because she got them done like a month ago, and it's just been like not feeling like going back
Yeah.
into the salon. So they're like super grown out. I keep telling her, I was like, Mama, you need a fill.
You gotta get that fill,
You
girl.
need a fill. Like you need Jesus in your heart. And she can't do anything. She taps on her
God.
phone like like with like
Yeah.
the first knuckle.
Yeah,
and she's
the
like
inside.
doing this, or she'll just hand me the phone, and she'll be like, my nails are just
Oh
simply
my
too
God.
long.
I love it. Oh gosh. Okay, so we talked a little bit about Cynthia making songs her own, right? There was a lot of talk about Glinda, and I think whoever getting the role kind of maybe doing an impression of Kristen, because
Sure.
I think that's a realistic concern.
because
I
the
mean,
thing is,
Kristen is so iconic in
but
that role.
she's not only iconic, she worked with Steven and she worked with the songwriters.
She kind of
they
built
kind
that
of
role to
built
what it
They
is.
built Glinda around Kristen.
Yeah,
right?
she's the blueprint.
So when you get things like unusual and exceedingly peculiar,
Yeah.
like that's so you
Those are
can
all-
hear
yeah.
Kristen. And I know that people had those concerns. I did not share those concerns.
Yeah, I liked. It's definitely like I was saying, like when we were watching earlier. I feel like Ari sat there and did her
Yeah.
homework and
Yeah.
watched the performance
And
of
she-
every single
Yes. Yeah.
Glinda,
And she
threw
had-
them
I'm going
all
to take a little
together.
bit from
I'm
this
gonna
one.
take
I'm going to take a little bit
her.
from that
I'm gonna
one.
take a little bit from her.
And you could tell that she had that reverence for. I now I sound like Lisa Rinna. She had the reverence for Britney.
I didn't get that.
See, Michelle. Now I thought, or Merle, I thought you'd have torn her apart. But she really had that reverence and a reference
Yeah.
for Kristen.
Because
But
she's a super fan. She did her
Yeah,
homework, and
yes.
she also happens to be very good, close personal friends.
Oh,
the
Mark
OG.
Platt just gave me tickets to go see previews
Yeah.
with Kristen and Adina.
That's funny.
You know how that happens when Mark Platt just calls your mom and is just like, "Would you like to go see this show?" Shut the fuck up. But
Come on backstage. Let me set up your career.
that said,
But Ari ended up on Broadway, so
I didn't come away from it thinking, "Oh, she's just being Kristen. She's just being
no.
Oh, I
Megan
think
Hilty.
the
She's-
two performances are very different.
Ari's Glinda is
absolutely.
Ari's
Yeah.
Glinda.
Yes,
Like
yes.
she made it her Glinda.
Yeah.
Her
And
Glinda's
honestly,
gay.
I kind
Her
of
Glinda gay.
I
Her
kind
Glinda
of
gay.
in love with a
I
woman.
kind of
Yeah.
prefer
'Cause
Ari's
Elsa told
Glinda.
her.
Yeah.
That if I'm going to be listening to popular on my Apple Music, I'm probably
I'll
gonna,
take
I'm probably going
Ari's.
to put on the Ari version.
Yeah.
It's good.
How do we like?
I
What is
like
this
her-
feeling?
Wow. So good.
You mentioned it. I mean, it's just you can't get away from it. There's something about the way their voices blend together.
Their voices-
that is just.
There's scratches.
It's
and
almost
itch on my
hard to tell them
brain.
apart, but it's almost hard to not know who's who. Like
It's like their voices were
weird.
made to harmonize. With
I
one
really
another.
like what is this feeling? How it's cut together. I think it's a very beautifully edited.
I like
scene.
the side by side in the
Yeah.
beginning when they're both like writing their letters, and she's
very.
and Ari's just
It's
like,
very like
"Guess
movie.
What?
Yeah,
I
this
can't
is a
hear
movie.
you
and
guys.
It's a movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Did that really well.
Yeah, there are definitely things you got to like flush out like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. It's great.
It's great.
She just has line deliveries that you're just like, fuck, man.
Don't you just love air?
Don't you just love air?
She's so great.
And that's the thing too, the hair flips and all that. I feel like haters are probably just like, oh, that's Kristen. But I don't know.
I mean,
really
she did
feel
invent
like-
the toss.
Yeah.
That the we toss our hair is an integral part of the Glinda character, especially during the popular scene where she's like, oh my God, I'm going to make this, I'm not Josie Grossi anymore kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's her new project.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely feel like Ari's Glinda is unique to her.
Yeah. So Scott and I are both Skip the Dillerman song people.
What, something bad?
Does Peter Dinklage need
I
to
don't really care for Peter.
does Peter Dinklage need
in
to
this movie.
accept any more roles that require an English accent?
This
Game of
accent, this
Thrones
accent is so crunchy.
It's crunchy,
It
mama.
is bad.
Animals. What are
Animals.
these pronunciations? Crazy. So since we're a Skip Dillerman household, maybe we'll skip right over Dillerman and talk about Fierro.
I think
Jonathan
that you described Jonathan Bailey's performance as Fierro as being very Diana Ross in Mahogany. The men
The
love
men
me.
love me. The women love me. They
all love me. Mahogany.
Mahogany.
But yeah, I love this performance in the movie just because it gives me a lot of bisexual
He's
energy.
bisexual.
Oh my
he's
God, yeah.
pan. He's everything.
There's this
And
part
we
when
love it.
he's and I know every single gay, aka your entire audience, knows
Yeah.
exactly what I'm about to say. When he's starting to do Dancing Through Life, and he pushes that guy back and then pulls him forward with his foot, and I was
Yep.
like, guys, I gotta run to the bathroom real quick. Give me
Instant
like
boner.
5
And
minutes.
there's
Yeah.
just something of how
boner.
these pants fit
Oh my
Jonathan
goodness.
Bailey.
Tailored to within an inch
Bailey's
of
ass.
his
oh
life.
my God.
Listen,
Yeah.
if he farts, it's done. The
It's
pants
over,
explode.
it's over for all of us.
It's over for all
Jumping
of us.
on these tables, that crazy
Kicking
structure that they
books.
built, that they're all like.
You're talking about the
running
tornado
around?
bookshelf?
Yeah.
The tornado bookshelf.
Well, it's
this
really
seems very
cool.
impractical.
It's cool because
I
when
gotta
you
get a
look
book.
at
What
it,
is-
when you look at it
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
front of the room shots and it's in the distance,
Yeah.
it's an O with a Z through it, so it says
Okay.
Oz.
Because of
But
the ladder.
because of how the ladders form
Got
a Z
it.
inside of the circular
But then
structure.
there's multiple circles in it going in opposite directions, making a
Um,
tornado.
I'm pretty sure that the legal teams and representatives of the
Sure.
safety of
Yeah.
the staff or the
They're
actors
like, maybe we do that.
almost
in
shut
post.
that down. And John
we
and she
have
was
to have
like,
stunt.
well, it's
people
already
on
built,
this.
so let's just
Yeah.
run through it.
We're just gonna try it. We're just.
Were they
just gonna try
actually
it.
running like upside down in that?
He claims that they
Were those
are.
in camera?
I want to say they were
The
because
I feel like the shots
the
of Jonathan
bookshots
Bailey.
fully rotate.
He's sitting on top of the ladder with his legs almost in a side split as it goes upside
If
down.
it's an effect shot,
spinning with
it's
it,
a
and
really
he's sitting
complicated
straight
effect
up.
shot.
oh yeah,
So okay,
but
I want to go.
it looks cool as hell.
I want to rewind a little bit to his first introduction
Yeah,
when
sorry.
when all the mans and all the women's are in the line, like looking at him and like getting a little excited, and
And
he goes
the-
and has that moment with Bowen.
with Bowen.
Bowen, our buddy. Can we talk about Bowen in this movie?
So good. Love Bowen.
I think that John Chu's decision to let them ad-lib and keep
Listen.
so much of it in.
Yeah.
Is
I'm gonna
Like
So
he's,
great.
he's a major supporting character in the movie.
yeah. I'm gonna gush for a moment.
Yeah,
not only
do it.
because I know that Bowen is a friend of the podcast. Hi, Bowen.
Hi, Bowen.
Love you so much. Come
on the
Come on the show
Yeah,
anytime.
come on the show. If they needed to let him ad lib because
Yeah.
he is a comedy actor. He's fucking hilarious.
He said, "We got to go and rouge our knees."
Yeah, we gotta go rouge our knees. Fiero's gonna
What?
lose the little bit of his mind he has left.
What little
Love
of
your
his mind he has
shoulder
left.
pads. Everything that comes out of his mouth in that movie, like he's
I
the
don't see
comic
color.
relief. I don't see color. Lost it. There's a deleted scene where they're all like reuniting like with Glenda and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and she asks him how he is, and he just goes, "I've been through." And I find myself, it's not even in the movie, but I quote that all the time. One minor inconvenience I've been through.
I love how
So
him
funny.
and his little friend react to Elphaba's hat.
They hate that hat.
They hate that hat, but I just
goes,
love how they
"Ew."
react to it though.
Yeah. Bowen.
How
that-
he's holding it
of
like
that
it's
when
gonna
she-
give him an infection.
Of
Yes.
that when she steps out like at
He goes-
at their little party.
He goes, "Glinda, why?"
Why? That hideous hat.
I was gonna say, so you're talking about Fifi and Fen Fen, Bowen
Sing Sing.
and Bronwyn James, as Bowen is Fanny,
Fanny.
and she is Shen Shen,
Shen Shen, yeah.
and together they make
They're
Fen Fen.
hilarious together.
Fen Fen?
Yeah, Fen Fen.
But they are really good
Very
together.
Arrested Development.
But yeah,
They are definitely the comic relief.
Take your fen.
Because, like, let's be honest, a girl like Glinda
Yeah.
is gonna have a mean gay best friend
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
hyping her up
Mhm.
and like putting a little extra
Yeah.
oomph onto everything
Yeah.
she says.
Yeah.
And he is that girl.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
that girl we thought he was.
yeah.
You are that girl. I knew you were.
So Fiero's introduction and with his little moment with Bowen is super cute. I love
Which
it.
I like that we're at a place with movies like this that
Yeah,
it's
keep
not
going.
like a Beauty and the Beast situation where it's so hyped up of being we're doing an
There's a
exclu-
there's a gay scene.
there is a gay moment in this movie. I kind of like that everybody was kind of past that and you could just kind of accept it and it wasn't really talked about.
Everybody in the movie is just like it was kind of a thing. Like
Yeah.
But like with Fiero, yeah, it is that hard like bi energy or
Oh,
pan or
absolutely.
whatever he is.
Yeah.
He's flirting with everybody.
The men love
The
me, the
men
women
love
love
me.
him.
the
I
women
would
love
have
me, they all
loved
love
to have
me.
seen the short list of people
for Fiero.
that probably met with Jong Chu.
Well, which
or at
Jonas?
least
Which
were
Jonas do you
Nick.
think was the closest?
I think it
Nick?
would have been Nick.
Joe's a little up there. Joe's a little longer.
I think it would have been Nick. Yeah.
It had to be Nick Jonas.
But yeah, I'm sure that so many people really wanted this role.
Yeah. Like
I mean,
Joe.
we know the fates of these characters, and they're very, very pivotal in Wicked for
Okay,
good.
so here's what I want to talk about with Fierro.
I can't wait to see how that's gonna look.
Yes. So his Dancing Through Life choreography has got to be this
72-minute sequence.
Mama, Dancing Through Life.
It's half of the movie.
Half of this.
It's half of the movie.
I'm
2 hour and
I'm
45-minute movie.
Nick Jonas and Joe Jonas both auditioned for the role.
Love
and
it.
you know, you have to hand it to
Not the
the
sibling
people
rivalry.
casting this movie
Yeah.
that I feel like Jonathan Bailey, I guess, had just done
Yeah.
Bridgerton
Uh-huh.
at this time.
Same
that
horse.
They were
Same
on.
horse.
They were
Same horse.
They were onto that one.
They were, yeah.
right before he really broke, which was around Fellow Travelers.
Does Reggae Jean Page sing?
Oh,
He
I
could have
don't know.
worked. He's beautiful.
Maybe.
The right age.
But I think that Fellow
also for
Travelers,
Bridgerton.
when he stuck that foot in his mouth, just
yeah.
really sent him over the edge with
I
the
know, I
gaze.
got set over the
he
edge.
stuck those toes
Mm-hmm.
right down. Yeah. I think my kid is a little too young.
No. Oh yeah.
My kid's a little too young.
Well, especially
He's a
during
little boy.
especially during filming. Yeah, too young.
He's just a
Are
little
you
too
talking
young.
about your British demon
my
twins?
my little demon twinks from Heartstopper? Okay, so he's doing his like loosey goosey,
sexy little-
swinging his little hips, doing his like.
Clenching that butt.
May in fact later on turn into some sort of scarecrow like character. His
Ah,
dancing,
get stuffed.
right, and we love it. And some of the moves, I'm like, Mama, that is him doing that like back spring hand over.
Stomping the house down.
You know,
Uh-huh.
but
House
there's
down boots,
but
mama.
there's a couple of dance moves that are giving me like Ed Grimley, like they're giving me a little Martin Short, like
yeah, sure.
you know what I mean?
his little quick foot switch.
He's doing a little fast.
little short kicks.
It's giving a little Martin Short kind of Ed Grimley dance, and I'll put that on the socials for it so you know what I'm talking about. But I mean,
SAG
yeah,
nominated performance.
yeah,
He got him for the Screen Actors Guild.
I mean, he's just so
Beautiful.
pretty. He's just so cute. I think he's those big sticky outy ears. I think he qualifies.
I like
in the
that.
Little
I
Mouse
like that he didn't
Boyfriend
set back the ears when he
category.
was young too.
Yeah,
Because I remember when
Only
it was a
rich
thing.
people do that.
I remember when it was a thing to like have like what
Yeah,
are they?
Your
what are
ears
they?
pinned back.
Your ears pinned back
Yeah.
for children. I remember when that was a big deal.
Yeah,
I think
when
my
I was
mom
young.
almost had
Yep.
that done to me.
yeah. See.
It's too exhausting.
Speaking of which, thank God they didn't do it. I mean, Cynthia's wearing contacts to kind of go with the
Yeah.
look, so she's got green contacts on. But I'm kind of happy Ari didn't go for a blue contact. I'm glad that she just had her dark brown eyes.
I think it breaks up the softness
Yeah.
of
Sure.
Glinda a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
I feel like
I think
doing that
the-
would be a little too nail on the head.
Right. And I think the only thing that I have about her look is the eyebrows.
They're too
It's
light.
kind of hard
Sure.
to get the bleached eyebrows
I like-
right.
I
And
like
think
You're not
them-
Gaga.
I
I'd
think
like
what
them
they
to be a
did-
little darker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they matched her hair. And I don't think your eyebrows need to match.
They need to be a little
They need
darker.
to be a little
darker to
Yeah.
register on your face.
So it's giving Chris Hemsworth in the first Thor movie,
Oh no.
where it's like they just his beard, his eyebrows,
And it's
his
all the
hair
same
are
color.
Are you
all the
guys
same
familiar
shade.
with? Are you guys familiar with Spencer Sutherland?
Spencer Sutherland?
It looks like he got callbacks for
Ah.
Fierro. He's a singer.
Oh. Oh no, I thought that was Timothée Chalamet. They got the same hair.
I mean,
he
I'm
does have a
Timothée
very
Chalamet.
Timothée Chalamet.
I mean, I'm sure
look.
Timothy Chalamet was at least talked about.
I think they went for him, but he was like, "I'm not doing that."
yeah.
He's all like, after y'all tricked me with Wonka,
Yeah,
we're making chocolate.
we're making chocolate.
We're making chocolate, of course.
chocolate, of course. All right, Alyssa Edwards. We're making chocolate, of course.
Can't. What movie are we to talk about?
God. So, all right, we're in our Fierro. We're in our Fierro era right now.
It's crazy.
Fierro
It's
era.
crazy when you listen to this track,
Dancing Through Life.
Dancing Through Life.
The
How long it is?
15-minute
oh
song.
My God.
Yeah.
How long is the at least on the soundtrack? how long is the runtime? Because I know,
Let me check.
because I remember mentioning it when we were watching. If you look at the timeline when the scene starts to when it ends at the Ozdust, that's like an 11-hour day. They're in the middle of a school day.
9 minutes and 47 seconds.
That's long.
That's still long. That's the length of like 3 songs.
That's. I mean, I am skipping through that when I'm listening to this on my walk.
It is 3 songs.
I'm listening to the first part, and then when it goes to the dialogue, I'm out.
Well, this is the only time that we get Nessa Rose singing.
Me and Bach.
Me and Bach. That Munchkin boy. Nessa, you can't just call someone a Munchkin boy.
No, and my favorite part of that song is, and I know it's like very malicious, very dark-sided, when Galinda's giving Elphaba the hat, but her little like, trying to convince her that the hat is all this, and black is this year's pink. And I love that part of the song. It's so, and I think it's Ari channeling that campy Glinda-ness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Gosh,
cute.
the actress who plays Nessa Rose, Marissa
her only
Bode.
thing.
She has a hilarious social media
She was in a.
following.
Oh, does she?
She was in a
she's
short
funny
in
on TikTok.
2019.
Cute.
And one when she was a kid. But this is her first role. I think she's pretty good. I
Yeah.
think this is also a really hard role.
It's a thankless role.
It's a thankless
There's
role.
nothing-
It's never liked with the audience too. That
Yeah.
you're never going to
I
be the fan
mean,
favorite character.
no,
but
everybody
I think
hates
she's really good though.
Nessa.
Yeah.
Like I said, like seeing her on, because I follow her on TikTok, and
Sure.
she'll stream, she'll play games, like she'll play like Fortnite
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
she's really
It's
really
gonna be,
funny.
and it's gonna be really fun to see what they give her in the
We're
next
all
movie,
trying
too.
to figure out what are they going to do,
I
because
don't
this
know.
character, they enchant those shoes, and it's
Yeah.
like, what?
But it's like Marissa's actually like a wheelchair user playing
Yeah.
a wheelchair user,
Yeah.
which is really good to have, people with disabilities represent people with
Yes.
disabilities.
Yeah.
I noticed in one of the specials or somewhere, I don't know if it was one of the specials or on Threads or something, that Nessa Rose often or mostly wears striped socks.
Yeah, in the show she does.
So, I mean, that's
Oh wait,
giving
does she in the movie?
in the movie? Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah. They're subtle. It's not like black and white
So
or
you
red
two
and
were
white or
mentioning
whatever.
that when she goes to
her
the party, she
Her
might be
shoes are
wearing
on the wrong feet.
The shoes
the
on the
shoes
wrong
on the wrong
feet.
feet. Do you think that was on purpose?
No, I don't think it was on purpose.
Why would it be on purpose?
I don't think it was on purpose.
I don't know.
I think it was an accident. No one caught it.
I don't think anybody caught it, and I
Yeah.
don't think that she caught it herself.
Yeah.
But it's because
I
it's
think
like
it was an accident.
it appears that
They,
what we would really need to do. The shoes are first
the
shown.
emerald, they're not emerald. The silver
silver
shoes
shoes.
are swirl motif.
And
It's
they
a
have, like, a
very
little cyclone in the heel.
reminiscent
Very
in the heel.
foreboding.
Yes, and there's swirls on each toe, and the toes, when they're worn on the proper foot,
That they all face like
they kind of almost face inward, almost to each other, and then on the opposite end, there's a little swirl at the top, and that's on the outside end. And we noticed that
they
in the
seem
Oz
to
does
be
seem they are not
backwards.
in that formation.
You've seen the receipts?
Yeah,
He's wearing
We
them
saw
on the wrong
receipts.
foot.
Yeah, and it's it's a little, that one's for the gas squad. Scott, we mentioned that the Ozdust scene is kind of giving us the passing of the brooms.
The taking of the
The
broom,
taking
the
of the-
passing of the broom.
The
Do you
laying
remember
of the
that?
broom.
Do you remember that from Drag Race when they did the Wizard of Oz
There's
makeover?
a makeover
Oh,
challenge
yes.
with the Little Women of LA. And and it was a Wizard of Oz themed.
I remember this challenge.
And
I remember this
Kimchi
challenge.
and her
They had to do an interpretive dance
with brooms
with their partner
and Kimchi and her
brooms.
partner were doing some great. It didn't have to be interpretive. It just had to be a dance number. And
I
there's
mean,
I really love Naomi Smalls' Scarecrow.
so good.
I think it's
That
one of
was
my
great.
it's one of my
Beautiful.
favorite
with that cunty
makeover.
little bob.
so,
It's one of my favorite
with that
makeover
fuck-ass bob.
challenges.
That
yeah.
fuck ass bob.
Yeah, it is
Some
a
baby bangs.
It is one of the best makeover looks.
Yeah, it's very good.
And
the best
she
of the
made
episode,
it.
and she made it. And it's Naomi Smalls, not a seamstress.
Anywhere you see a hem.
everywhere you look,
Everywhere you look,
Oh,
a
you see
hem.
him.
People died at Stonewall.
No one died at some.
Nobody died at Stonewall?
But yeah, so the Ozdust scene, it was giving us the laying of the brooms, and it was also giving me the African anteater ritual from Can't Buy Me Love.
Sure.
Everybody just doing the
I
dance.
love this set. It's in a cave.
It's under.
It's
under-
the lake,
It's under the lake. Yeah, I
or
love it.
whatever the water body is.
It's
that
under the
they're-
body of
yeah.
water.
It always
that the
reminds
school
me
sits upon.
of the club
Yeah.
that they go to in Adam's Family Values.
Yes. Yeah.
With Debbie and Fester.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
No, that whole scene is so good though. The amount of like I guess, lore and effort or lack thereof that goes into like the dance.
Yeah.
Like Cynthia knew that choreography, but Ari didn't and intentionally didn't learn it because she wanted it to read that she's learning this from and picking it up from you on the fly.
And you don't want it to be too rehearsed.
No,
too.
it looks way more organic. It looks like they're actually like connecting and they're coming together and starting to understand each other. And I'm just sitting there crying watching it happen.
My sister hated this scene.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's a scene after this where Dr. Dillerman gets taken away and we get the Cowardly Lion Cub and all of that stuff. But every single character is in this classroom at the same time. It's giving Saved by the Bell.
It's a little Saved by the Bell. It's
Like,
a little.
y'all,
It's also a little Harry Potter too.
A little Harry
where
Potter,
everybody
yeah.
is just in the same Defense Against the Dark Arts
I'm
class.
like, all are just
everybody's there.
in one classroom together. Okay. I also noted that Elphaba and Glinda, I don't know that their uniforms are on dress code. Why does Glinda get to wear pink and purple and lavender and
I know the
aubergine?
the realistic explanation for that.
We want to
in
separate
my
them
mind,
visually.
correct. We want you to know that those are our main characters.
Yeah. Sure.
Because they kind of wear their own version.
Yeah, and everybody's uniforms are
Shiz
different.
uniform.
Everybody's
Are
uniform
you going to
is
be
unique.
Are you going to be ratting on them?
Yeah, but at least
They're
everybody
like,
else's
girl, your shirt is not up to code. You
But
need to
at
tuck
least
that
everybody
in.
else's shirts, it's like they're coming from the same tailor shop, so it's all the same color and fabric of like a shirt and a pant and a cardigan.
But if you think about it, Glinda
Where-
and Elphaba both come from families
They have a
of
little bit of
wealth
money,
that have a little bit of coins
Yeah,
to clink together.
to throw around.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Elphaba's backstory is so different in the book. I remember that was the
Yes.
first thing that I really noticed when I saw the musical of what I remembered from the book. I was like, oh, this is this is completely different. All of this.
But honestly,
Yeah.
like you said earlier, like it's nothing against the the original book, because it's written very well. But there are certain details about Elphaba's conception that don't benefit the story. She's already a tortured soul. We get it. We don't need to add in those elements.
Absolutely.
The religious zealot element to the dad too.
We don't need any of that. He's enough of an ass.
And she's got like sharp teeth and like all.
Everybody's shocked when she's green. It's like, Mama, there's a bear and a wolf
There's a wolf up in your stooge
delivering
this baby.
a
child,
and you're
but she's green, though.
and
you're
housekeepers
concerned
taking
about
shots
the green
of gin in
skin.
the background, and you're worried about a green baby.
Yeah. This is true. This is
You
true.
love
That baby was so cute.
You love
The baby was very cute.
I
Do you
love
think
the
they
bear.
painted the baby, or do you think the baby was CGI'd?
I think it was CGI.
Yeah, that baby was little.
They may have
That was a little baby.
used a real baby as like the model, and then they just animated over it.
Yeah.
But I love the bear.
We love Dulce Bear.
Dulce
yeah.
Bear's so cute.
Because that looks like a real bear.
She's
But I was
don't
saying,
worry, little one.
Dulce
Her
Bear's-
voice is so
Dulce Bear
soothing.
sneezes and that baby is ripped to shreds. Speaking of the kind of CGI and the animals and stuff, does Fiyero holding the lion look like
I buy it.
Jennifer
It
Love
doesn't
Hewitt?
look like Jennifer Love Hewitt holding
Holding
Garfield.
Garfield.
I think it's good.
Looks a little better than that.
I think I
it,
bought
looks
it.
it looks a little better than that.
I bought it.
Yeah,
It's
it does.
giving like the live action Lion King graphics.
Yeah,
as far
because
as
he's
Lion
like
Cubs.
tucking it under his coat, and
holding
it's
it by
kind
its scruff. Yeah,
It's working.
I mean, this
in
is
there.
a major moment of these two characters' relationships with,
Yes.
with each other.
I think it's the moment where Fiyero realizes he's
Yeah.
like, oh, I want that.
That was a big moment from the Super Bowl trailer. Was that shot of Jonathan Bailey and
Yeah.
Cynthia's hand,
Oh yeah.
like touching his face? That was a big.
Oh yeah. when
I
the
want to
cut.
say that was like one of the first big images of the trailer before you actually saw.
and everybody knew
Elphaba.
exactly who they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Glinda waking up,
And realizing her best friend and her man are the only two people missing.
gone, and she's just like, those two bitches. Where? What the hell? They're like out there solving mysteries.
They're
Like,
out
I'm
there
sitting here
playing
asleep.
Mystery Inc. and she's taking a nap.
What the hell? I mean, I know it didn't work on Fiyero, but still, I would
Also,
have had the same
why did
FOMO.
none of her classmates be like, "Hey, Elfie, so like,
Remember
why did
that
you knock
time?"
us all out in history class when that guy was talking about cages?"
I think the knockout.
Nobody brought it up. Nobody
I think
cared.
the knockout juice in the poppies kind of like made them not realize who it was
Or
Just
remember.
happened. Yeah, or remember
Yeah.
what happened. Yeah.
I know that there's a really, really good deleted scene that is supposed to like follow that. And it's Glenda having like a sit down with Elphaba. She's all like, oh, I would have helped you if you would have asked me. Like, you could have chose me.
Oh,
like,
right,
I
right,
want to
yeah.
be in your corner.
Yeah.
And I think that should have stayed in the movie because
Do you think that she feels a little betrayed when she doesn't include her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's also, I feel like it puts context if you fast all the way forward to Defying Gravity.
Yeah.
Before that, when they're getting on the train and Elphaba
right.
has that last moment, come with me.
Yeah.
If we had that context of that conversation between Glinda and Elphaba, where Glinda's like, you can choose me,
Yeah.
like you can
It
bring
would
me
have
with
given
you.
her the
I'm in your
payoff.
corner.
Yeah.
I mean, she could
And that's
be.
when she go, come with me.
Yeah.
I'm choosing you.
Yeah.
And
mean-
then Glinda decides to not choose her back.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been a very different ending to the story.
What
she
if they
would have
both
actually
hopped on that
included her.
broom and
But that's
whipped
my
out of there?
question. Get on. Girl, what?
Get on this broom.
The two of them are okay.
You just did your mama say mamakusa. I don't know what this is gonna do.
In this universe, clearly witches are not this trope of like the pointy-haired green skin. She is
She
the
created
first
that.
pointy-haired green skin
And
woman
when they see the
to ride
and when
a
they
broom.
see the enchanted broom, it's a gag.
Icon.
so
Yeah.
so
Trailblazer.
So it's a gag. It's a trailblazer. I'm like the first bitch to jump on this broom and ride it. So she really has any way to do it. So she could have just been hanging on holding on the cliff.
She
with
jumped
her
on it like
legs.
Harry Potter catching the snitch.
Surfing it.
Is she going to be doing
just-
side
she could have
saddle,
done anything.
straddling it?
She
I don't
could have
know.
done it
Side saddle would be so kind.
bedknobs and broomstick style, just
Oh
like,
my God.
ooh, I'm riding it like a
Holding a
lady.
sword.
Yeah, no, I want her to surf. Or I wanted to be holding on with one arm. Like she could have done anything. She chose to ride it that way.
Yeah.
But when she says, "Mama, get on," what?
Get
Who?
on how?
And who?
How?
And then
You
what about
just
you?
invented this. What do you mean get on? Explain the concept to me.
Yeah. So all right. Well, let's
Get back on track.
a couple of things. No, I mean we're not doing like what song are we at now?
Well, I mean, we kind of skipped over popular.
Well, we talked
Too.
about
Which- we
talked about it a
Kristen's
little bit.
Kristen's
I really like.
take on
I
it.
really
Yeah.
like popular though.
Yeah.
I love Ari's
Kristen's take, Ari's take. Yeah.
Ari's take, her improvised little like when she goes, ew, when she points at her shoes.
Yeah.
Don't make me laugh.
Oh yeah, don't
I love
make
that.
me laugh. Or when she, when she's like, so let's start because we've got an awfully long way to go, but she drawls it out very droll.
Yeah.
Like she's like, God, I'm not sure I want to do this anymore. It seems like a lot of work.
What does she say? The frock? It's not
It's a froat.
It's a froat. The
Yeah.
frock coat. It's a froat.
The froat.
Mama, what that froat do?
What that froat do? That froat game. How's that froat game, girl?
Okay, so we can. I guess we can. I'm not that girl. We talked a little bit.
I
about
would say
that scene.
I would say underrated song.
I think
Cynthia is
I think
really
Cynthia
good in
sings
this
it
moment.
beautifully.
it's another
but-
one
Yeah.
that everything I've seen from the show have been like
It's,
cute,
it's better.
and then you
it's
watch
better
this
than the
and you're
original
like,
recording.
Damn,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good little character moment.
Cynthia
I mean,
knocks it out of the
and
park.
Of
we
Elphaba,
don't,
too.
we don't want to just dwell too much on For Good, but this becomes Glinda sings this later on, and it's that thing where by the end of the whole show, Glinda has now sung "I'm Not That Girl," and then when they do their harmonies again in For Good, Glinda's now doing like lower
Yeah.
harmony, and Elphaba's doing the high part, which Glinda always did the high, and it just shows this is like the beginning of Glinda's big arc, and like,
Yeah.
we really see that payoff, and that's going to be really fun in the next movie.
One Short Day.
One Short Day.
We mentioned that it
So
was
good. Very up
giving
with
us
people.
It was giving us a little
Main Street
Disneyland USA.
Oh, it's definitely a parade.
Yeah.
It's a parade
Yeah.
song. Do you think they do that
the
every single time
Emerald
somebody gets to the Emerald
City.
City? Every time
Okay,
somebody new comes
so-
in, they're like, guys, we're the top.
Okay, so I think that if
Like
you
5,
were
6,
if you
7.
were going to maybe trim 10 minutes off this movie, this is probably the scene where you would cut the most.
You could
of-
probably
yeah.
trim Sentimental Man.
I'm
yeah.
talking to the what are they called? The elders or
The sage. The wise ones.
the
They're the wise
soothsayers,
ones.
the wise ones.
Well,
Get 'em
that
outta
whole
here.
get him out of here. Is the bus still running? No, that whole like I call it like fluffed up sequence is added for the movie.
Yeah, that's all.
and it's added specifically so that they can throw Adina and Kristen in there as a cameo.
Yeah.
Which It's fan service. I'm not mad at it.
I think people would have
It's
been upset
cute.
if they wouldn't have had Kristen and
in some way,
Adina
shape, or form.
in it.
It's
Yeah.
like you guys saw the live action Little Mermaid
Yeah.
when Jodie Benson has a cameo in
Yeah,
that
her,
movie.
her little moment.
Her little moment
in the market.
I would have.
Yeah.
I would have been. Not. I mean, I wouldn't have been like, dear Walt Disney Company.
Strongly
but
worded letter.
I think it's cute that they pay homage to what got us to where we are today.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
let's like, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, Kristen and Adina are like the blueprints for these two characters.
Sure.
And everybody builds off of what they
Yeah.
established.
And they gave Kristen her little falsetto or like
And when she throws her hand over Ari's mouth, she's like, "No, my moment. You'll have yours in a few."
Yeah.
I think they do a good job of portraying Emerald City, and it feels somewhat unique because I
feels
think that
fun.
we're at a point where there's so many cinematic versions of Emerald City. We have the 1939 movie. We have The Wiz.
That's what it
We
ties
have-
me into. Oh, the Wiz Emerald City is great.
We have Tin Man. What else do we have for just
We have
Emerald
Return to
Cities?
Oz.
Return to Oz. We have.
There's a whole show
Oz,
called Emerald
Oz
City.
the Great and Powerful.
The whole show called Emerald City, directed by Tarsim Singh. That
I
was
always,
done on
I always
NBC.
I always forget that he directed that.
Yeah, and that was one season. It got cut short. I think there's 11 or 12 episodes. Vincent D'Onofrio is the wizard. I'm not sure who's Dorothy in that. She's kind of.
But I love that scene. It gives me the same vibe of like Glinda and Elphaba going about the city and like exploring and getting their little manicures and getting their hair done. It gives me that same vibe as like Dorothy and the gang getting cleaned up
Totally.
from walking for 4 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
To get presentable and bathed
Yeah.
for the wizard, but it kind of gives that same like vibe.
Who's
like,
the one that has like
get
the gay
gussied up.
barbers? One of them has like really gay looking barbers. Is
I mean,
it the
it's-
Tin Man or
it's
is
the
it
Cowardly
Oh no,
Lion.
it's the Cowardly Lion.
Lion?
Snip,
Well,
snip,
well,
yeah,
the,
snip,
well, the,
snip,
yeah.
well, the Tin Man. Well, the Tin Man has
short
the
sleeve shirts.
the Tin
Yes,
Man has
that's,
the
that's actually the first graphic tee.
The Tin Man.
That's the invention of the graphic tee.
Love
The
it.
is in
Tin
Wizard
Man
of
has
Oz.
the homoerotic guys polishing it.
That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'm saying. They're like
Buff,
the
buff
sexy
here.
guys.
Oh no!
Yeah, and like Dorothy has, or is it
The
somebody
girlies.
has the girls with the like high skirts?
Eyes.
Like
My eyes to
she can dye her
dye
eyes.
my eyes to match my gown.
match her gown.
One of the weirdest movie makeovers ever. I love it.
Yeah, if I were one of those girls, I'd be like, "Girl, you mean color contacts?"
I was gonna say dye her eyes.
Girl, you need
I
color
can give- I can
contacts?
give you a
We
contact.
we can go to
down-
Hollywood Boulevard right
go
now.
down
We can go down. Come on, I got
Santiago.
you. I know where you can get them. $4.99 a pair.
Yeah.
Just only wear them once.
So, we're talking a lot about practical sets, locations
All of
that they
shiz
built.
for the most part is practical.
Yeah,
Almost
they did
every
some digital
set.
extensions.
And
Yeah,
it's gonna
of
be- and
course.
we were
But-
discussing this
but-
as we were watching it. It's going to be why this movie is going to age really well.
Correct.
That I think it's still going to look great in 20 years.
So I want to talk about the big wooden Oz head.
Practical, 100%. It's
com-
great.
All
They
those
built it.
pieces, they move,
Uh-huh.
they articulate, and his mouth moves, and the whole
puppeteer
thing
has to be
moves
back
around.
there.
But the thing about it is, it's imperfect. When you watch it, it kind of bounces a little bit. The
Yeah.
lip, I think if they had gone in and made that a digital
It would look too
puppet,
good.
It would have
Yeah.
stuck
the
out like a
lips
sore
would
thumb.
match the words. It would be too perfect, too smooth. But this thing is, it's got weight to it. It's bouncing around. When
I think
doesn't
it
need to be.
represents the wizard's like obviously his like authoritarianism,
Oh, yeah.
but he comes in and probably finds carpenters or whoever
Yeah.
throughout Oz and is trying to explain to them what they want, and
Yeah.
that's what they produced. So it's not perfect.
Yeah.
It's what was available.
But it's scary and
It's scary and it's
yeah.
intimidating.
And I like
the
that-
fire, the 360 around the room is so
I like
cool.
that Elphaba, like the black woman that she is, walks in, sees that big scary head. She goes, "Nope."
Nope.
She's done. Turns
Nope.
around.
She's like, I'm actually good on this. I
And,
don't need to meet the wizard.
And the white girl grabs her and says, "No, let's keep going towards imminent danger."
yeah, no.
I'm sorry, the very clearly, obviously Latina woman, Ariana Grande. Do you remember that? The obviously Latina Ariana Grande. woke wicked.
I can't.
But yeah, I think that puppet is just so. I mean, obviously something like the Flying Monkeys.
You have to
you
CGI
know.
something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's you can't do.
I
that
love how
without
haggard all the
CGI.
monkeys look.
Yeah, they look scary.
Yeah.
They look scary.
They
They
look
look
scary as
over
hell.
it.
Yeah.
They have been
Well,
held prisoner.
They've been held prisoner.
Yeah.
None of them can speak anymore.
For far
they
too
can't-
long.
They
Yep.
can't speak up for themselves.
Yeah.
It's all very representative of the Wizards regime.
Yes.
And
Of which
he's,
the radicals are trying to get
yeah,
free.
the radical-
Yep. The free radicals.
the rebellion of Oz, the other animals.
I think that it's really funny in this movie that everyone hates Glinda. Like
Well-
people in authority where she tries to
Sure.
gain favor.
Uh-huh.
And they're just like, oh, you.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, honey, you got a little shit
Yeah.
on your nose.
But I like that it
So-
never breaks Glinda, though. That she
No,
can
yeah.
still have that confidence.
But, you know, it's just,
She's determined.
just in Oz, like pretty privilege isn't really a thing.
No.
Pretty privilege doesn't mean anything because if they can all just be like, oh, Glinda again.
Well, it's like status doesn't really mean anything
Yeah.
either because
She's
she
got
tries to
money.
throw her status and she's like, "Oh, Glinda Upland of the Upper Uplands," and Madame Warble's like, "Okay, so anyway,
Yeah.
room assignments are going to be on that
Yeah.
board. You have a
Moving
good
on.
day."
Yeah. You know, we often talk about the last 30 minutes. It's really more like 50 minutes of
Yeah,
this movie.
sure. Because I think that they get to Emerald City and there's fully 50 minutes
Yeah.
left of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and One Short Day
It's
is
the
it's the second longest song.
Yeah, but it's the third to last song.
Yeah.
You're almost done with the first part, but you still have almost a full hour of film left.
Yeah, absolutely. One Short Day is 6 minutes and 33 seconds just on the soundtrack. So I think there's a couple of little filler things in there that stretch it out a little bit longer. But yeah, I mean, the last hour or whatever.
I'm assuming
is
that the
so
Grimoire
solid.
is in the Baum books. Is this
I
a
don't
holdover
know.
from the original novels?
I don't know.
What was that?
The Grimoire.
The Grimoire?
I think that was created for.
For
I
the
think
show,
that's.
or
I
for the-
think
is
yeah.
it
I
for
think
Wicked?
that was.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that was created for the original book, like the Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West.
Okay.
I haven't read the Oz books in a very long time.
Yeah.
I was adolescent.
I've never read any of the Oz books.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of
Great.
them.
Yeah, there's like over 20.
We
of them.
always
And there's not-
joke that like Dorothy gets the Oz in the second sentence of the book.
Yeah. Of the Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
It's like-
It's like once there was a girl named Dorothy, and then this tornado came.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
And then she was
They
in
don't
the
waste any
magical
time.
world of Oz.
Yeah.
Or the wonderful world of Oz.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then she's there.
yeah. They don't waste no time.
I remember
on that.
there's an illustration in the book that when the house becomes airborne, there's a cellar door in the house because the storm cellar is in the house. And so it lifts up, and then there's a giant hole in the wall, and Toto falls through the hole, and Dorothy grabs him by his ear and snatches him
yikes.
back up into the house. And there's a picture of her grabbing Toto. That's all I think about. That's all I can think about.
So, the first time I'm seeing this in the theater, I keep forgetting about A Sentimental Man. Because, I mean, you want to talk about
It's
what
not my
songs we
favorite.
skip.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
That's one of them.
It's
Because-
already not my favorite in the show. It's just it's kind of a creepy song.
Okay, so do we
That's
feel
kind of
like
a
the
It's a
casting?
gaslighting
Do we
song.
feel like the casting of Jeff Goldblum is a little lazy? Of that, if you're going to
Sure.
get a famous person that has
Right.
a musical career, which Jeff Goldblum has a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
famous
Musical person, yeah.
piano show that has been in Los
He
Angeles
just came out with a
for
new
years.
album.
Yep. That I think it's a little lazy.
I mean,
I
it's-
think that they could have cast somebody a little more nuanced and interesting in this role.
Yeah, I kind
You
of
want a Sam Rockwell?
Yeah. I do want a Sam
You want a
Rockwell
Sam
in this
Rockwell
role,
in this role?
actually. Yeah.
I mean, you would have rolled your eyes at Robert Downey Jr., but Sam Rockwell will take. Robert Downey Jr., Hugh Jackman, get the hell out.
Yeah. Shouldn't she be doing better things with her time?
Yeah. But the thing is,
I just don't think he knows what he signed up for.
Goldblum.
Yeah. Like when he
Sure.
agreed
Yeah.
to go onto the movie,
Yes.
because you see, he's like if you look at him in the like during the press tour, him and Jonathan Bailey have their own
Yeah,
their own weird dynamic
they got their
going
own
on
thing
that's
happening.
running
Yeah.
parallel.
They have
of
their
Ari
own
and
little.
Cynthia.
They have their own little in jokes that we're
Yeah.
just like, I don't
Yeah.
know what the fuck they're.
But I think Jonathan Bailey's like fully leaning into being part of like Oz lore. Like,
Yeah.
wearing like shirts with a scarecrow on it.
Yeah.
Like kind of like a nod, wink, wink to the fans if you know, you know.
Yeah.
And Jeff Goldblum is present and
Like,
accounted
what's-
for.
What's that? Nice shirt. So okay, the whole time during sentimental man. And the whole time when they get to Oz, I'm just like, oh my God, it's happening. I'm so freaking excited.
Yes. Freaking excited.
I'm just so freaking excited right now.
It's
happening.
You're just Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
Kristen Wiig at SNL.
In
You're
your
wrong myself.
What was her name? What
in
was
your
that
theater
character's
seat.
name?
I'm gonna be like jumping through through the movie screen from the back, just like just because.
And that
Defying
scene
Gravity is
so,
coming.
Yeah, Defying
It's
Gravity is
coming.
coming. But that scene particularly is so goofy, and like Jeff Goldblum makes it so campy.
Yeah.
Which is like come on, he's no stranger to camp.
Right.
His decisions and his little tap dances and his little showboaty.
funny.
I think I like how he plays the wizard because his wizard is trying to do everything he possibly can to remain charismatic and to continue to gaslight these girls because he knows what Elphaba is truly capable of if she catches on.
Yeah.
And she does.
Yeah. True.
And she does.
Yeah. And that first time in the theater watching it, it was just like, I mean,
I couldn't
Defying
pay
Gravity
attention
was
because I knew
emotional.
what was coming.
That was emotional, right?
I hope you're
mean,
happy.
I hope you're happy.
you're happy.
I hope
too.
you're happy.
As soon as that shit, I was just like, all right,
Yeah.
we're here. It's here.
Yeah.
Fun
it's here.
fact.
I'm about to see it.
You know my car, right? My cute little green Kia Soul. Her name is Elphaba. And
It's
we're
green.
having some engine problems or she won't want to turn over.
Oh.
And whenever that happens, I slam my hand on the dash and I go, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. And then she starts up. She doesn't like being yelled at like that.
Love it. Love it. You know, the stage production is one thing. That's what we know. I think that going to see it, she's just on a little elevator. And she just raises up
But it's a cool
15
effect for a stage.
feet, maybe.
It's effective.
It's no
It's very
Phantom of the
effective.
Opera. I mean, we've seen
It's
some
no
crazy
chandelier
effects.
swinging.
It's no. We've seen chandeliers flying. We've seen wizards. We've seen old trolley cart ladies flipping and a flopping on top of trains.
Can't talk about that.
You
That's
know?
crazy.
So they can do crazy effects on stage, and it's a relatively simple effect.
Yeah.
But the song is such a big moment that it's a big effect, and it's powerful and all of that.
I love how it's arranged too, because there's even bits of where it's supposed to be like the really high, like the da 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 da, and it's kind of like quieted down so that Elphaba's voice is like more like with intention. Like you really figure out like, oh yeah, no, she's done. She's not the one or the two.
Yeah. When we saw it on stage, our audience did not clap.
I'm sorry.
But our audience did not clap when she flew.
Everybody was too jaded.
This is the
I was like
Pantages?
clapping, looking around like,
It was
what
at the
the
Pantages,
fuck,
yeah.
you idiots? What is going on? I was ready to like scream. I was like, nobody's reacting, so I won't.
I remember
And
losing
I
my
didn't.
shit.
Yeah.
I remember because when
I was
I saw it for the
sad.
first time, we were up in a balcony. This was in Orlando.
Yeah.
At pretty sure it's not around anymore. It was the Dr. Phillips. No, it was Bob
Not Dr.
Carr.
Phil.
It was not Dr. Phil.
The Dr. Phil Theater?
No, it's
No?
Dr. Phillips. It's like a hoi polloi bougie neighborhood in Orlando. But no, I went to go see it at Bob Carr Theater, which is I don't think there anymore. But we were on a balcony, and I remember the people in front of us didn't show up. And once we went into the second act, I grabbed my
Take
friend.
'em.
I said,
We're
"Girl,
sitting there.
We're going." And
We did
went to
that
the
one row
front.
closer.
We did that for Hairspray at the Dolby.
Yeah, we went to the front of that like balcony.
Oh, I love
and
that.
we
When
could
you're in the
see
front row of the balcony, that's the
over-
best seat.
We were in
And
the
I
front row of the
remember-
balcony for Phantom. Do you
Yeah,
remember that?
that's the best
when
seat.
Elphaba
Best
seat.
flies,
Yeah, good scene.
Yeah.
Good seat.
I was leaning
You're-
over the
yeah.
balcony like I was locked
Yeah.
in. It
Absolutely.
was phenomenal.
Yeah. And I feel
So
like
cool.
in a movie, that first night I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is because it's so minimalistic on stage, right? We get the room and we get like the little shelf of clothes where she's got to get her dusty old rags that she puts on Elphaba, and the broom comes out of the ground and all that. But it's minimal. There's some clockwork.
Yeah.
There's some clockwork in the
Yeah.
background.
It's not a showy set.
But it's not a showy set, and so it's very interpretive of where they are and where in Oz is this? What is this room?
What's happening?
And the way that they fleshed it out in this movie is just like, oh my god,
It's
oh
great.
my
like
God,
having
it's so
her jump
good.
out that
Oh,
window and
sure.
then the broom not working initially.
Oh.
'Cause
Also-
she still doesn't believe in herself. That's
Yeah.
why the broom didn't fly for her.
Yeah.
The spell worked, but she didn't believe that the spell worked.
She didn't believe that
Yeah.
it's me.
It's
Well, she was having her moment too of
Yeah.
when Rue holds up the picture of baby Elphaba.
What would Elphaba say?
What would Elphaba say to
To-
2-year-old Cynthia? But that scene was actually shot really cool too because the two actresses are actually there in front of
Oh,
each
that's
other.
good,
The child
yeah.
version of Elphaba is suspended in her little,
Yeah.
falling machine, and then Cynthia's direct. So when they're
Love it.
reaching for each other in that scene,
They're really doing it.
actually reaching
Sure.
for
Love
each
that.
other. It's
Yeah.
so effective.
It's a really good example now with movies. I think that audiences now are so maybe not over it, but they've seen so much visual effects in movies that
It's
I think
exhausting
it's
sometimes.
sometimes really hard to impress audiences now.
Yeah.
But I think the big climactic defying gravity scene is impressive when you see it all together.
Most of that scene
And you see
takes
all
place
of these
above
visuals
the
come
Emerald
together
City.
when she's flying around.
It's great looking. It looks great.
I think it's pretty well done. And also, there's just something about the John Powell score, especially at the end, when it really crescendos and you see all of the scenes at Shiv's,
yeah.
that it kind of gives me goosebumps. When
Yeah.
you see, when you hear like, when you hear Michelle Yeoh's voiceover
Yeah.
of like Elphaba is like public enemy number 1,
Yeah.
I mean,
and you really hear that score like swell.
they do the
It's such a
Morrible.
moment.
They do the Morrible voiceover speech twice,
Yeah.
full length twice, and it's slowed down the second time. They cut up the song a little bit, and I know people had issues with cutting up Defying Gravity.
Yeah.
but
Which
for
I think
the
flush out
movie,
the
I think for a movie you have
Yeah.
to extend
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it's if you're comparing it to the Broadway show, that's the final scene of the first act.
Yeah.
That's the final song of the first act. It's the showstopper, number in the show. So like
Yeah.
that had to reflect. And I really think that it did. The way that they implemented like how her cape gets like really super long,
I
and
love
it kind of
that her
mimics
cape
how it looks
grows
on the stage.
and looks like the stage
and it kind
version.
of gives us that same perspective, like we're looking up at her, like she's above us. She doesn't have time.
You
for
know,
us.
you have to think about somebody who is maybe a little kid now, or somebody that's going to watch this movie in a few years as a kid or a teenager, and this is going to be their Wicked, right? And then they go and see a stage production 10 or 15 years in the future that is like the original stage production, and they see the cape and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
that's like
I
the
get
the
it.
movie,
two are gonna
Yeah.
come
you know.
together. Yeah.
And I think
I
that
get the
John
I see what
Chu-
they did.
I think
Yeah.
that John Chu is so intentional in that.
I got it
of-
immediately.
That this is going to be our Wicked now. This
Yeah.
is it. This is what generations of people will know as this show.
Correct.
And the stage version is always going to be there. And so to people who see this first, they're going to be able to tie it into the movie
Yeah.
when they see it on stage. And that's so great. That's such like
Cinema.
visionary thinking.
It's cinema.
It's cinema. It's everything.
Yeah.
But it also, you can think about like her powers are growing and her magic and, the flying spell and everything. So it's making the cape like grow and
Grow
get bigger
around
around
her.
her.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's so good. It's so good.
So great.
I love it.
It's a good movie.
It's a good
It's a
movie.
pretty good film.
Yeah, man.
It's always exciting when you see new movies immediately infiltrate popular culture, and it's like, when have we not seen Wicked? It's like we've had this all of our lives, and it's
Yeah.
only been out since November.
Correct.
It's one of those things.
Yeah. There's a tweet that I'm gonna screen grab right now so I don't lose it, but it says Elphaba's cape getting bigger in every cutaway and defying gravity, and it's Cameron Manheim's hat.
That's
It's
the
a scary
first.
movie. Yeah.
That's literally
I knew
the
you were
first
going there.
thing I thought of. I was like, it's a fucking sheriff hat, isn't it?
I love that. I love
the
that
brim of the
sheriff
hat
hat
getting
gag.
it's so funny.
That
it's so funny. The
It's
hat just keeps getting
the
bigger.
funniest
One of the
visual
funniest
gag.
and stupidest
Oh my
visual
God.
gags ever put on film.
And it's never acknowledged.
It's never
Yeah.
acknowledged. It doesn't mean anything.
Nope.
It never returns.
And then doesn't
It's
she have
just-
like a really hard time getting back in the
Getting in the
cruiser?
car.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
And it's for the scary movie that's really not that great.
No, it's one of the Charlie Sheens.
Yeah.
The Wayans brothers are gone at that point.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
So funny. That's so funny. No,
love that shit.
that oh my god.
Yeah. But I know that there were a million people out there in that movie theater just when that scene was happening. You feel it. You're like, I know that's going to happen. And what is it going to look like? And what's it going to be? And it just was better than anything we could have thought.
It superseded any of my expectations.
Yeah.
So what I was going in.
Yeah.
It checked every box for me and then wrote in additional boxes to check. It was so good.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm even more excited to see how they're going to do some of the numbers for Wicked for Good.
Oh my God.
And I'll be back.
The stage show does, it's the end of Act 1. It cuts to black and it cuts to intermission
God,
immediately.
This is a lot of information for just like the first half of a musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of story.
Yeah.
It's a lot of lore.
Yeah.
It's a lot of backstory.
But
because if you think about it, all of this is Glinda telling
Yes. To the Munchkins.
to the Munchkins,
To those Munchkin boys.
Because one little shit stir was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I heard y'all used to roll with each other
This was
Back at Skew.
this is
back at Skewel."
Pete, this is the Zola moment.
Yes.
You want to hear
You want to hear about me and this bitch fell out?
Mm-hmm.
It's a long,
what did she say in
crazy
Zola?
story.
Mhm. There's a lot of suspense.
There's a lot of suspense.
It's literally yes, it's very that.
Yeah. The stage show, the scene does end after the big battle cry. The song abruptly ends. And in this, we get a little reprise. Na, 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 ah!
Yeah.
And then all the timpani, the very space balls.
Y'all want... I have the full
You got the
tweet
full.
from her.
Okay.
Y'all want to hear a story about why me and this bitch here fell out? It's kind of a long story, but full of suspense.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's Zola, listeners. Go watch that. That's a fun movie.
Have you ever seen Zola?
No, I haven't.
It's Florida cinema. They go to Tampa.
It is. It's
in it.
it's Florida.
They
go
road
to
they road trip to
Tampa.
Tampa.
They road
Yeah.
trip to Tampa.
The only thing I like about Tampa is Dochi.
There's some high paying strip clubs according to Zola in that movie.
But it's also kind of far from Orlando. Well,
No.
it's like okay, I remember it used to take like 45 minutes to get from Orlando to Tampa,
Oh my
but
God.
now it takes like 2 days.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah.
Let's see. It is May right now, so we have the rest of May, June, July, August, September.
I think this
we have 6 months.
I think this teaser is going to be out soon.
Yeah, it's
six
got to
Within-
be.
I want to say
The press
okay,
tour is
so
starting.
mark
Yeah.
my words. I think by the time this episode comes out, I think we will have a trailer by 3 weeks.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Tops.
3 weeks. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like we said, we've got
We will have
Cynthia,
one. We will have one before June.
We've got Cynthia and Ariana
Going on Drag Race.
going on Drag Race, guest judging together on the premiere.
I love that.
Yeah.
Of Drag Race.
I love that they had their shit together last summer to orchestrate that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That they knew that they're
nice to see us,
they're
isn't
going to
it?
be just beginning their press tour, but we need to get in on this and get them right before
And then
they
they're
do
going to
all of this.
release it in time for where, because like that Wicked for Good press tour is going to start to roll out soon enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
The merch is going to start to roll out soon enough.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, we have the goodwill of
It's Universal's
only
new
been
cash cow.
It's only been a year. Yeah, I mean,
What
this
are
is this is giving Frozen 2 energy, and that took like 4 years.
What are we most excited for Wicked for Good? It's going to be really fun to see the transformations.
Oh yeah, I
of
want to see
all
how
of these characters.
how Bach and Fierro are going to transfer.
Bach.
I can't wait to see. Yes, she's so cute. That little girl that plays little young. Yep. Nope. I am excited to see how they're gonna have their fight scene.
Yeah.
Glinda and Elphaba and how they smack each other, and that's where we really get that true Elphaba cackle. That's so.
that's the
I'm
last-
excited to
Also,
see how
calling,
Cynthia's gonna do that
calling back
full
to the
realized
scenes in
cackle.
this movie where they're doing where they're doing their like combat lessons
Yeah.
at school.
That's what
I mean, that's why they were training so hard for it.
Yeah.
Is because they
To fight
actually
each other.
they
Pay off
actually
later.
had like
Yeah.
a scene that they were going to be doing
and then
later in the
Fierro
movie.
comes in and like breaks it up and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then that's when he gets crucified.
I mean, see, and that scene in the movie is so minimal. It's just like Dorothy's sad house and like wheat.
Fierro!
Like Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'm
God,
excited.
and there's a lot of the second half of Wicked that I don't remember too.
Yeah. Okay, so
A lot of it's crazy.
right after the movie came out, there was there's a big YouTube like push of we're gonna watch all the old performances. We're gonna see Adina. We're gonna see Shoshana. We're gonna see Anna Gasteyer. Everybody doing these alphabet performances. La la la. Somebody got a full show on YouTube, and it hasn't been taken down. And
How?
it's still there. Yeah.
These poor people that are sitting next to these people that are filming
recorded
these shows.
with the whole
Oh my God.
show. And it's a live. Maybe they're in an area where they didn't have people behind them. I don't know.
Okay, but or also I know
think
that
that's
I know
kind of
that Wicked
synthesized
famously when
a
it
little
first came out, when it first debuted on Broadway, I don't know if it was as heavily attended as they thought. Like I think it took a couple weeks for people to really
To catch on,
realize
the word to get
how
out.
good it was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
probably there were some open seats in those early performances.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I mean that whole last I checked, that whole upload is still there on YouTube, so you can watch the second half.
How
if you
is
want
there
to.
not just like a recorded
They never
version
did a
like
live,
they did
yeah.
for Cats Now and Forever and Phantom?
and Into the Woods and all
And
those.
Into the
I think I
Woods.
know. I think I know why. Because Universal has had the rights to Wicked for quite some time. Like before it was brought to the stage. I'm trying to remember the details correctly because they were gonna push it as a movie.
I wonder if it was a holdover from the book
Yeah.
of when they were optioning the book.
They were gonna push it as a movie.
Yeah.
And then Steven Schwartz came in and was like, "Hey, let me have the rights to this. I can make it into a fantastic musical, and I can take it to Broadway."
Also early IP too,
Yeah.
of that we can brand this as a musical, and that will be
Yeah.
kind of help it make it popular.
Yeah. So Universal's actually been sitting on it for quite some time. But I'm glad that it came out when it did. I think that if they were to go with the original directors and everything that they had in mind, I don't think it would have been as much of a show-stopping
the right moment.
kind of moment.
It was
Yeah.
waiting for the casting of Cynthia and
God's
Ari.
time.
Okay,
God's timing.
so Pete, hear me out.
Yes.
This book comes out, I think around 95, 96, 97, like
Sounds
late
right.
90s.
Yeah.
Could you have seen Wicked by Gregory Maguire done as a
live action non-musical.
a live action non-musical? The musical does not exist. Could
I
you
wouldn't
see
wanna
it?
sit through
Could
it.
you see
I
it
don't think I'd wanna sit
as
through it.
a ABC miniseries multi-night event of
Right.
Wicked?
I
I
have-
could.
Oh,
I could see this done as a 90s miniseries.
Yeah.
I have a follow-up question. Could you watch the original 1939 Wizard of Oz if it weren't a musical? If that were just like a typical
We also talked.
30s
It's only
movie
half
of
a
the
musical.
We
time.
also talked about on our episode 250 when we did the Wizard of Oz that when you
only half a
when you
musical.
revisit this movie now,
That's true.
There's not as much music in it as you might remember.
But
there
the
being.
soundtrack is 2 discs. Oh, but they put a lot of the instrumentals in there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
lot of
true,
score.
'cause it's the score
too. Yeah.
But no, I love the Wizard of Oz. I'm a very big fan of Oz lore and the fandom
Yeah.
that surrounds the land of Oz and its goings ons. It should always be a musical. I think any adaptation should be.
Pete,
a
who
musical.
are we casting in 1998 as a Wicked miniseries?
Right.
Marsha Cross as Elphaba.
Oh no.
Terry Hatcher.
Oh, the Desperate Housewives. Yeah. Nicolette Sheridan as Glenda.
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't know. Terry might be a good Elphaba.
I like to see. I mean, I know that he was in Merlin, but Rucker Hauer as the
as the wizard.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he did Tin Man, but I'm thinking Richard Dreyfuss. But he was the wizard in Tin
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, just kind of a little thought that I was thinking of if you completely step yourself out of the musical, like what would have become of this novel had the musical not come around?
I think it would. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because there's no telling in what Universal would have done with it if.
I mean, it's
Steven
a
Schwartz
good idea
wasn't
also for a
convinced.
movie
Yeah.
is the
Well,
real
that's-
story of the Wizard of Oz.
They saw it. They saw that immediately.
saw the
and they're
potential.
Like, this is
Yeah.
a movie, but they saw the potential, so they bought the rights like almost immediately. But I can't think of it as any other way.
Yeah.
I just can't. My brain won't allow me. I'm not programmed to process that.
I
way.
have the full miniseries in my head already.
Well, you're in the right town.
Yeah, seriously.
Run up the street,
Oh my
drop off the
gosh.
script.
Oh my gosh. Well, we should probably start wrapping this guy up because we're pushing 2 hours here.
Oof.
Mitchell, this was so much fun.
Yes.
I'm so happy
This
that
is
you guys
a lot
asked me to come back. This is always so fun.
Yeah. You gotta think of something else to come on. It's gonna top the. Well, you're welcome back for good.
You have,
Wicked
to
for
come, you
good.
have to come on for Wicked for
Yeah.
Good.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll be out. I'll
It's
be
only
out
6
here.
months from now.
I'll fly across the country again.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Love it. Well, yeah, you're welcome. Then this has been a lot of fun. Listeners, stick around. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with a little bit more show. Welcome back, listeners. We are wrapping up our Wicked episode. Thanks for sticking around to the very, very end.
It was a lot of episode today. We got an over 2 hour one. We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun though. So thank you very much.
Wicked deserves it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much once again to Mitchell, our wonderful, fun guest. That was a lot of fun. And I'm sure he'll be back for Wicked : for good.
I guess that it was a choice to record this episode at the cusp of really seeing anything of Wicked for Good. Are there
Yeah.
even stills out?
I don't
Is
know
there
if they're
one
even
of is there one of
official.
Cynthia?
I don't think it's they
that
may
they're
have been at
releasing?
CinemaCon, whatever.
Sure.
But I don't think publicly they've released anything. There's images of her, but I don't think they're like official. But
Exciting, though.
That'll change very, very soon. So depending on when you're listening to this, you may very well have seen a trailer or a teaser or something for good. But yeah, just a couple months away. But I think it's just about that time right now.
Patreon shout-outs?
Time for some Patreon shout-outs.
Let's hear 'em.
A great big hello and thank you to all of our wonderful active patrons, including Leah, Megan, Rachel, Kelsey, Andrew, Stephen, Vanessa, Leah, SB, Brian, Sarah, Richard, Mark, Amy, Erica, Anna, Mitchie, our friends at How Do You Drew, Andy, Kate, Pep, Roberto, Daisy, Kelly, Chrissy, Stephen, Laura, Thomas, Lori, Brenna, Jess, Lawrence, Lisa, Alexis, Thomas, Millie, Ted, Benny, Melanie, Susan, Paul, Jamie, Drew, Genevieve, Dawn, Josh, Aaron, Nick and Shannon, Christine, and Rufino. Oops. Here we go. There you go. You guys, thank you very much for being patrons. Head
Thank you
over
so much.
to patreon.com/movies that made us gay for all of the fun bonus content.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun stuff there. At the $5 level, you will get the TV shows that keep us gay, where we watch a TV show every month and talk about it. Last month's was Boy Meets World.
Yes, indeed.
We did 2 Boy Meets World episodes in a row. Take it that one of them was a holdover from the Disney World episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 Boy Meets World episodes.
Yes, indeed. That's at the $5
And
level. We
I
do
have
TV.
thoughts about the one that we talked about.
I
too.
mean, yeah. Highest rated Boy Meets World episode on IMDb.
I'm dubious.
Oof. Yeah. That was something.
That's going to be at the $5 level. If you wanted to do the $10 level, you will get the Watch With Us commentaries where we put on a movie and chat a little bit about it. It works as a bonus episode. So if you're at the $10 level, it's like you're getting 2 extra episodes a month.
Yes, absolutely. TV and commentary track. So lots of fun. Thank you so much for subscribing and being patrons. All of your donations go directly to keeping the show on the air ad-free every week. We'd love it if you would subscribe to the show on whatever podcast listening platform that you use. And if you do that, go ahead and leave us a review.
We've been getting more reviews lately, which I love.
Yes,
love to see
indeed.
the 5-star reviews.
Much like this one here from Apple Podcast user ECJ305. Movies that made me about a quarter gay. I found this lovely duo via That Age Well podcast. Shout out to Paul and Erica. And any friends of Erica and Paul are friends of mine. There is nothing that I appreciate more than younger Gen Xers and elder millennials discussing the movie that made me 25% gay and 100% ally. I was obsessed at first listen, but really fell lost in love when they brought up Miss Piggy's loose-eyed heels in The Great Muppet Caper. She wearing pleasers in that.
I completely forgot about that. Did she wear a little?
She wears some pleasers in that
Little
one.
pleasers in The Great Muppet
I
Caper?
guess so. I started listening to the library from the very beginning and making my way through all episodes. Wow, we love it when people do that. That's so much fun. 10 out of 10 on this one. We'll be joining their Patreon ASAP because they're that great.
Love that.
Yeah, I love that. There's one more I can read now. Let me go ahead and find it because this one is actually from overseas, so we had to look it up, and that is going to be Maybe I'll find that another time because I'm having trouble finding it right now. I thought I took a picture of it. I'll read it on the next episode. But yeah, go ahead and give us 5 stars. Go ahead and, subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on Spotify.
We're on
wherever
all
you
of them.
listen, we are on all.
Most active on Instagram.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Let me see. I think I can actually find it right here. Oh, here it is. This is from Apple Podcast user Musicalum.
I have a
Hello.
feeling I know who.
If you know, you know. Title, podcast that made me gayer. Scott and Pete are funny and insightful hosts, and they do The Research Mama, great guests. A fabulous variety of films and more fruity references than you can shake a Judy Garland at. Your stupid jeans will go 3 sizes. Stupid complimentary. 5 stars. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you have an iPhone, Apple Podcast is pre-installed. Just go ahead and open up that app and look for us. Give us 5 stars and write us a review like that. And we'll read it. But yeah, if you head over to Instagram, we're at Movies That Made Us Gay. We're most active there. So, we got a lot of content dropping on Instagram, some fun reels, some fun images, stuff like that. So, like, subscribe, share, leave comments, repost in your stories. All of that helps the show reach a wider audience. So thank you so much for doing that as well. If you want to follow our personals, you can. My name is Pete. I'm on Instagram at Peter Lasagna.
I'm Scott, Young Baller on Instagram, and follow my letterbox.
Yes, indeed. Thanks so much for sticking around for this one, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.